in Miami, Florida. Today, the Colts and the Miami Dolphins. They're both trying to climb the same mountain, but right now, the Indianapolis Colts, they're at about 5,000 feet.
Well, Frank Cush is very happy with the progress of his young Indianapolis Colts team. He feels as though last year they weren't sure whether or not they could win the ball game. This year, they know they got a chance in every ball game.
The Dolphins, they're climbing that same mountain, but they're above timberline. They're looking to the summit.
Well, they're looking to the summit, the Super Bowl. Don Shula thinks that this year is the year that they can put it all together. They had a setback because of the running back situation. They brought in Pete Johnson. Now they think they're back on track, and they're so close they can smell it. He's looking forward to it.
Let's go to the keys to this game. First, for the Colts.
The Colts have to run and run and run. Curtis Dickey, Randy McMillan, a pair of running backs the Dolphins feel like are the best set in the league. If they can get their running game going, they can get their play-action passes, then they can control the ball. And if they can do that, they feel like they've got an excellent chance to win.
What is the key for the Dolphins?
They have to pass and pass and pass. No surprise, that's all they've been doing the first 3 ball games. They're happy about it, but they'd like to get some running game going too, so we won't be surprised if we see some running, but Marino's been outstanding throwing the football.
And what is your quarterback quote for this game?
Well, the Colts can score some points. They've scored 68 in the last 2 ball games. Defensively, they live dangerously. They blitz a lot. The Colts can be a problem. The Dolphins have won the last 7 in a row. They're trying to make it 8 the hard way.
And the newest member of the Miami Dolphins, he arrived last night, is Pete Johnson, obtained from the Chargers for a second-round draft choice. Got in here about 9 o'clock last night and then passed his physical. His big year with Cincinnati, their Super Bowl year, 1981. More than 1,000 yards rushing, and he's an excellent receiver. Uwe von Schamann will be kicking off for the Dolphins with Phil Smith and Larry Anderson, the return men for the Indianapolis Colts. And Uwe von Schamann could kick this one into the stands. He has a 20-mile-an-hour wind with him out of the east, gusting to 45. Now, he doesn't catch the gust, but it still sails. And it'll go through the end zone. So the Colts will bring it out to their own 20-yard line, first down. Offensively, they will open with Mike Pagel, the cornerback. 2 great running backs, Randy McMillan, Curtis Dickey. Tim Sherwin, the tight end, doesn't catch that much. Ray Butler, an exciting wide receiver. Tracy Porter, much improved as a wide receiver. And that offensive line of Hinton, Utt, Donaldson, Solt, and Mills, it is young, it is growing, it is good. The Colts from their own 20-yard line. First back through is Randy McMillan. As expected, a gain of 4 to the 24. Doug Betters makes the stop. It'll be 2nd and 6. Defensively, Betters, Baumauer, Beaucamp.
2nd and 6.
Brzezinski, Brophy starting in place of Roan, Brown, and Bowser. McNeil and Judson on the corners, and the Blackwood brothers at safety. 2nd down and 6. Ball game just underway. Colts going into the wind. Bagel taking all the time in the world. Gives inside to Curtis Dickey, and he moves to the 29-yard line, gain of 5. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Jay Brophy, the rookie, makes the tackle.
Charlie, a little scouting report on the Colts. What they like to do is get their running game going. They like to run this play, the fullback McMillan leading Curtis Dickey right up in here. They'll run that play a lot, but the play action off of it sends the tight end across the field, the split in deep, and this man coming in here. They like to throw it to the deep man first and the short man second. That'll be a play we'll be looking for sometime today. Play action, got to get the run going first.
3rd down and 1. Sherwin in motion, 1st down. Popping through is Randy McMillan. 37-yard line. Pickup of 8, 1st down. Lyle Blackwood makes the tackle.
Short yardage, straight ahead running.
9 yards.
Donaldson, the center, 53, is on top of Baumauer. Good hold, good blocking by 66 Solt, the #1 draft choice on Brophy. The #2 draft choice. Should be an interesting matchup. Those 2 rookies playing against each other.
They spot it close to the 38-yard line. Colts in their own territory. 1st down. Opening the way that we expected and the way that the Dolphins expected, and that is on the ground. Little play action, quick screen to Butler, the wide receiver. He just leads across the 40. We'll mark it the 41. We'll give him 3. It'll be second down and 7. Don McNeil making the tackle. Rudzinski also there.
Charlie, you mentioned that it is a very windy day. It's a great day to play football. A little bit humid down here, but the wind is going to be a factor. The Colts, you mentioned, like to establish their run, especially so on this series because it's the opening drive going into the wind. So it'll be tough to throw the football.
The wind at 20 miles an hour into the faces of the Indianapolis Colts. Second down and 7. Curtis Dickey jumps to the outside and has the first down, 49-yard line. He picks up 8 yards on the play. Glenn Blackwood makes the stop. Curtis Dickey with that world-class speed in his 5th year. #1 draft choice back in 1980. Rushing yardage this year, 245 yards. That is 6 yards more than the entire Miami Dolphin team in rushing coming into the ballgame.
Frank Kush is very happy with the progress of his running game. He says Mike Pagel is playing much better, but he only plays a lot better when he has that strong running game, something they're establishing here early.
Dickey comes out, Middleton comes in, and Frank Middleton carries for 1 to the 50. It'll be second down and 9. Bob Baumauer with the tackle. So this is a situation, the temperature about 84 degrees. Into the wind, they're going to be forced to throw all of a sudden.
They are, and I am reminded about the noise level. We're near the airport here in Miami, and a jet just took over. If the wind is blowing such, those planes will be taking off over the stadium, and they'll be tough to audibilize at the line of scrimmage.
Second and 9. Porter in motion, Pagel to throw. Scramble, almost scrambles out of it. He is dropped for a loss. Bob Baumauer and Doug Better's got it.
First attempted pass. Good protection on the play. It just that the coverage in the secondary was such that nobody was open. Donaldson picks up the linebacker blitzing. Pagel ducks inside and then takes the sack.
Third down and 11. Now the Colts have been converting an outstanding 44% of their third downs this year. That is unbelievable. This is 3rd and 11. This will be a tough one. Pagel has pressure and he is sacked again. This time Doug Better's got it. And that will bring on Ron Stark, the left-footed kicker. And he is kicking into this headwind. His average on the year is 43.6, which is outstanding. And Vince Heflin is set for the return. Now, Heflin will be looking into the sun. You can see the shadow behind him. And will be battling the ball coming down into the wind. Good kick. Driving it through the wind. Taken at the 13-yard line. He'll have 4, maybe 5 on the return. A 43-yard kick. Mike Humston makes the tackle. And the Miami Dolphins will be moving on offense for the first time. 9:43 left to go. First quarter, no score. Dolphins on offense for the first time. Quarterback. Temperature 84 degrees. Sunny skies are forecast. That wind, big problem. The offensive drive of the Colts took just over 5 minutes of the first period. Woody Bennett. Now you may wonder about the running of Woody Bennett. Well, he obviously is responding to the acquisition of Pete Johnson. Let's look at that offense of the Dolphins. Tony Nathan and Woody Bennett, the running backs. Tight end is Dan Johnson, Mark Duper, and Mark Clayton as the wide receivers. So Clayton has an injury problem. He may not play the whole ball game. Geisler, Foster, Stevenson, Newman, and Laxo, that offensive line. Gain of 9 on the last play. Second down and 1. Joe Carter comes in now as the running back for the Dolphins. And Carter is spun right at the line of scrimmage. May pick up a yard. Barry Krause makes the tackle. Let's look at the defense for the Colts. Winter, Wisniewski, and Cooks. Braceland, Odom, Krause, and Maxwell. And in the secondary, Burroughs, Daniel, Kafinsis, and Glasgow.
Tate Randall is in at right corner in place of Eugene Daniel. Charlie, I was talking with George Gatavolis, the defensive secondary coach of the Colts. Before the ball game, he said that Daniel had a little bit of a hamstring, so Tate Randall was going to play.
Third down, about half a yard. Pete Johnson, his first appearance as a Dolphin, number 46. The crowd tells the story.
Charlie, they had Pete Johnson come in last night and this morning in the ballroom at the hotel where they were staying after breakfast, after the pregame meal. As we take a replay, a look at it, they had him in the ballroom going over some plays, working with the chairs, moving the chairs around, saying, this is this play, this one that way. He's got down a few of them. He shouldn't have been dancing in there. He was learning his plays.
He knocked over a couple of chairs this morning and a couple of Colts this afternoon. Marino fired. It's complete. Duper into Colt territory. Cliff Odom makes the tackle. First down. 22 yards on the play.
First 3 plays were running plays. Try to establish a little bit of ground game, something they haven't had in the past. And they come right back with a square end, down and in, to Mark Duper, wide open on the young secondary of the Colts.
First down, Miami, Colt 48-yard line. Here's Carter. To the 45, gain of 3, second down, 7, Barry Krause with the tackle.
Scouting report on the Dolphins, one of their favorite plays. They like to take the tight end, release him in the outside, and the fullback in the flat, and the halfback in the flat. Now that leaves these areas right here wide open for the wide receivers. Will run down. They try to get them the ball on a slant. Right in those areas, the quarterback takes a 3-step drop. It's a quick pass. The Dolphins like to use it out on the field and inside the 20-yard line.
Second down. And the Colt defense is there. It is Cliff Odom with the tackle at the 45-yard line, bringing down Tony Nathan. It'll be third down. And still 7.5, almost 8 yards to go for the first down.
Colts like to do a lot of blitzing. A lot of their sacks are by their linebackers blitzing in. That occasion they were blitzing and they fouled up the run blocking of the Miami Dolphins.
Now they know Marino will be throwing here. Will they be blitzing here?
Well, they have blitzed a lot in this situation. They said before the game they're not going to blitz as much because of Marino. He is so tough picking the blitzers. But here they come.
Good protection. Time to go deep. They'll be passing it there. Duper was just hooked at about the 17-yard line. Tate Randall reached down and pulled him down.
Offense, number 35 on the defense, first down.
Okay, we're talking about the blitz. Watch these linebackers right here. Both of them blitz. That brings the safety out of the middle up to cover the back. The wide receiver Duper is over here, will come down the field. This other receiver will be short. This man right here will cause the interference. It's a good play, Charlie.
And the penalty, 27 yards to the 18-yard line. There's the hook.
Right there.
You could call it a professional foul. He was trying to save a touchdown. Pass is too high, almost picked off by Tate Randall. The man just called on the penalty, Dan Johnson, the intended receiver.
Second down.
So bring it back to the Colt 18-yard line. It'll be second down and 10. The Dolphins started this drive back on their own 18-yard line. They are working with the wind in the first quarter.
And they're trying to throw to take advantage of it. I said a little earlier that the Colts may not be blitzing as much because they don't. The Colts feel like Marino is so tough. He gets rid of the ball so quickly. He has a quick release that they won't be blitzing as much as they have in the last 2 games.
This is the 8th play of the drive. Second down and 10. Here's Carter. 5-yard line. First down, goal to go. A gain of 13. James Burris with the tackle. Has the addition of Pete Johnson improved the running backs of the Dolphins?
I don't think that. I think the addition of that man right there, 23, Joe Carter, 4th-round draft choice. Watch the line blocking. Straight blocking, 64, Newman. Bennett, 34, gets a block on Braceland. Good running, but he ran very well in preseason, Charlie. He's been injured the last 3 weeks with a slight dislocation of the shoulder. Obviously, he's back, and the Dolphins are happy about that.
Carter, 3 carries, 15 yards rushing. Johnson is in. And Pete carries. And he is stacked up. And it takes almost everybody. Cliff Odom was the first man to get to him. And then he was just hanging on to that moving house and waiting for some help. Gain of 1 to the 4, second and goal.
Charlie, Mike Kozlowski, a defensive back. They had some quotes in the paper this morning about the acquisition of Johnson. You mentioned a house. Kozlowski says tackling Johnson is like tackling a house.
A high rise. Second down, goal to go. Tony Nathan, the first back through. The Dolphins have not scored a rushing touchdown this season. Don Shula, head coach of Miami.
Don't think he doesn't know that, Charlie. He does not like the imbalance in his offense. He doesn't like to have all that passing and no running. He is bound and determined today to get it at least. He's not going to abandon the pass, but he wants to get it back to where it's a little bit closer.
Third down, goal to go, 3-yard line. And the Colts will stop the clock. They want a timeout. 3 minutes and 53 seconds, the time remaining in a very fast-moving first quarter. We have no score as Marino comes to the sideline to talk with Don Shula. We'll take a timeout. Coach, Indianapolis Colts, the ball just outside the 3-yard line. Third down, goal to go. We look for Marino to throw here. Jimmy Cepolo has come in. Joe Rose has come in. From the shotgun. There's a little jumping by the defense. They got back far side, incomplete. Nat Moore, the intended receiver, flag was dropped at the back edge of the end zone. But you did see some jumping in that defensive line. Defensive holding. Automatic first down.
Holding. Number 25 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Good protection on the blitz by the Dolphins. Ball could have been caught. Nat Moore trying to keep his feet in bounds and catch the ball at the same time. Dolphins will get another shot at it. First and 10 on the 2-yard line.
Just inside the 2. And Pete Johnson comes in. Pete has scored 67 career touchdowns with Cincinnati and with San Diego. Johnson wearing number 46, the number that he wore with the Cincinnati Bengals. There he is. And he is stopped. I do. Crawl around the side door, but he didn't make it. It'll be second down, goal to go 1-yard line.
Take a look at the line surge from the Dolphins and the Colts. 56 is Maxwell, does a pretty good job on Johnson. Good tough defense by the Colts. I think, Charlie, they may have a good idea who's going to be carrying that football. Number 46.
Johnson has carried 3 times. He's picked up a total of 5 yards. 1 was for a first down. Tony Nathan is in the backfield with Johnson. Nathan is the slim one. The hands going up are by the Dolphins. The officials have not signaled for a score. A flag was dropped. Offsides against the Colts. They'll split the distance. May have been Vernon Maxwell, we're not sure. Maxwell may have been.
Offside. Number 56 on the defense. Half the distance to goal. Still second down.
They've been jumping.
We'll take a look at. Sometimes it's a quarterback's cadence that can pull a man offside. You see him jump right there into the neutral zone. A lot of things can go on in that case, Charlie. The cadence, maybe some movement. You never know from sitting way up in the stands.
Second and goal, 13th play of the drive. Pete Johnson scoring from a yard out. Uwe von Schamann to attempt the point after. And it clears the screen. It is good, and Miami out in front of the Indianapolis Colts by a score of 7-0. 2 long drives. The Colts were thwarted. The Dolphins scored. We'll be back with the kickoff. Greasy. Dolphins out in front of the Colts 7-0. Uwe von Schamann will be kicking off to either Phil Smith or Larry Anderson. And again, he is kicking with that wind of at least 20 miles an hour. And the ball rolls off the tee.
Charlie, there's 2 minutes, 58 seconds to go in the quarter. I'm thinking like a quarterback now. Mike Pagel on the sideline. He says, if I can control the ball for the next 3 minutes, I can get the win at my back. So I go out there, just run the ball and take some first downs and get the win.
And again, the kickoff bouncing through the end zone. The Colts will have the ball at their own 20-yard line, first down. And to use up the clock, with the time remaining, they'll be going with their running attack. And we'll come back to look. Curtis Dickey and Randy McMillan, the tough St. Louis Cardinals, host the Miami Dolphins next week. Here's a quick look.
The NFL plays here, Miami.
Quick and lethal. That's becoming the trademark of the Big Play Dolphins.
The NFL plays here, St. Louis.
Where Neil Lomax is quietly emerging as the premier quarterback of the NFL. And the reason the Cardinals are flying high.
Miami battles St. Louis. The NFL plays here.
My team plays.
68th career touchdown, and this year the first Dolphin touchdown rushing. Colts with the ball. Their own 20-yard line, first down. Miami out in front by a score of 7-0. Play action fake to Curtis Dickey. The pass far side is complete to the 26-yard line. Dave Young, number 81, the tight end, now in for Sherwin, makes the reception. That is only his 4th catch of the year.
Dave Young was drafted very highly a couple of years ago by the New York Giants, released and went with a couple other clubs, and now has caught on with the Colts. He played his college ball at Purdue, was an outstanding receiver for Mark Herman, who is also with the Colts, but on the injured reserve list.
8 of 6, second down and 4. Pagel in this ball game completing 2 of 2, total of 9 yards. McMillan coming over the top, has a couple of yards on the play. Rudzinski making the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and still about 2 to go. It may be a little less than 2.
3rd down, 1 yard.
They'll mark it closer to the 29-yard line, so give him 3, and it'll be 3rd down and 1.
You know, Charlie, in talking with some of the Dolphin players during the week, they were as impressed with Randy McMillan as they were Dickey. Dickey, of course, has all the window dressing, has the world-class speed, but McMillan, as far as the power of running and blocking, they're more impressed with him, or certainly just as much so as Dickey.
They come in with 2 tight ends on this end. Here's Curtis Dickey, and he has the hold, has the first down, 33-yard line. You mentioned the world-class speed of Curtis Dickey. That's easy to say, but he has been clocked officially in 100 meters in a 10.05. Now, if you follow track, you know what that means. If you don't follow track, here's what it means. These are the results for the gold medal in the 84 games in Los Angeles. If Dickey had a run in that race with his best time, it was good enough for a silver medal. It is that kind of a speed that Curtis Dickey has. 3 carries, 17 yards for Dickey in the ball game. First down, Colts their own 33-yard line. Bagel, good play action on the fake to Dickey. Pass is complete along the sideline, 50-yard line, and he caught it. Ray Butler, 17 yards on the play, and a first down at the 50-yard line.
Ray Butler is one of the exciting receivers for the Colts. He can be outstanding, but other times he just gets maybe in a little walkabout. Doesn't concentrate as well as you should. You saw the guards pulling to the left. Pagel coming out, good throw, sticks it right on the money. Nothing Don McNeil can do about that one.
First down, Colts, 50-yard line. 1:14 left to go before the Colts will have the win. At the end of the first quarter, Indianapolis behind 7-0. Here's Dickey. And Curtis at 6 feet even, 222 pounds, picks up a couple of yards on the play to the Miami 48-yard line. Charles Bowser with the tackle. It'll be second down and 8.
2 yards.
Dolphins are trying to move around their defensive line. Their linebackers do a little bit different to try and stop the running game of the Colts. They know that they're going to come out and run. They know, especially going into the wind, they're trying to slant their linemen and cover them up with their linebackers.
Second down and 8. Here's Dickey with McMillan leading the way, comes in behind his block and moves to the 42-yard line. So he'll pick up 6. It'll be third down and a couple. And the rookie out of the Hurricanes of Miami, Jay Brophy with the tackle.
We're talking about the linebackers of the Dolphins. Here is Brophy, number 53, and Brown, 51. Watch the surge of the offensive line come out and block Brophy, and Brown will not be able to get around the pile because of the fact that they're so deep downfield blocking Brophy. Good surge by the offensive line. 51, Brown can't get around and get over there to help out. Into the first quarter, now the Colts are going to get the win.
So the first quarter is complete with the score, Miami 7 and Indianapolis nothing. We'll be back. The Colts will have the win. We're back in the Orange Bowl. The temperature 84 degrees. I'm Charlie Jones along with Bob Greasy. The Dolphins leading by a score of 7-0. The statistics reasonably close. The difference, 3 penalties against the Colts for 29 yards. Randy McMillan around the corner, out of bounds at the 36-yard line, so he'll pick up 6, and he picks up the first down. Number 75 for the Colts is Chris Hinton, 6'4", 283 pounds, played his collegiate ball in the Big Ten, but not for a big team. Northwestern, they do not have that winning edge, you might say. And in college, a linebacker, a tight end, and an offensive tackle. Last year was a guard, and this year's been moved out to tackle.
Frank Kush says he can be one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL.
That says it. Bagel to throw. Pass is complete to Ray Butler. And Butler is down at the 21-yard line. A gain of 15 on the play. And a first down for the Colts as Lyle Blackwood makes the tackle.
Bagel at his best when he can either have play action or sprint out a little bit, get outside the pocket where his vision is a little bit better and he has a little bit more time. Looks to his right, then comes back to the backside away from the way he rolled. A good throw and a good catch.
Here's McMillan. Randy McMillan to the 11-yard line. This will be close to a first down. William Judson with the tackle. So the Colts all of a sudden with the win take a deep breath, and here they come.
This is what the Colts wanted to do. They do not want to get in second and long and third and long situations where the Dolphins can bring their nickel in. McMillan, good blocking, takes it inside, then dips to the outside, gets around Bowser, 56, and now he's hard to bring down. When he gets his shoulders upfield, he goes for the first down, but the Colts want to stay out of the nickel situations where the Dolphins can be very difficult.
Be second down and just a few inches for the first down. Now, one thing you'll notice about the Colts, different from almost every team in the National Football League, offensively, they do not use situation substitution. they will change with a wide receiver, and that's just about it. Or they'll change a tight end, or they'll go to 2 tight ends on a short yardage. But basically, they stay.
It's plain vanilla. That man right there, he says, I want discipline, I want fundamentals, I want conditioning, and I want mental toughness. And that's his gospel, and that's where he's bringing this ball club from.
Randy McMillan, 5 carries, 31 yards, second down and inches. 11-yard line of Miami. Here's Dickey. Has the first down, 5-yard line. You pick up 6 yards on the play. It'll be first down and goal to go. Bowser with the tackle.
8 of 6, first down.
It's a straight ahead running play, Charlie, that they like. This is the one we drew up earlier on the preview on the running play. Both backs will come this way, and then Dickey just cuts it back when he sees an opening. Tough play to stop because the running back dictates where he's going. Linebackers overrun it, the offensive line stay with it, and then he cuts back into the hole. Good play by the Colts. They're in scoring territory, Charlie.
First down, goal to go, 5-yard line. They'll pull in extra tight ends here. Here's Dickey, sweep to the far side, has the speed. Good defensive play. Bob Brudzinski.
No gain.
Mark it for no gain. It'll be second down, goal to go. The Colts were one of only 2 NFL teams last year to gain more yards rushing than passing, and Pittsburgh was the other.
That tells you a little bit about the philosophy of the Colts. Of course, with a young quarterback and the strong running game that they have, you'd think that's the way they would go. Pagel is getting better all the time, and the more their running game goes, the better off their passing game will be with Pagel.
Together, Curtis Dickey and Randy McMillan have rushed for 62 yards. They're even, 31 apiece. Second down, goal to go. McMillan. One official has gone up with his hands. Then he pulled them down. Another official is called for timeout. There's a flag back on the 6-yard line. Holding against the offense.
That will drive you nuts, Charlie. This is a young Colt ball club. I just said that Frank Cush likes his offensive linemen and his entire team disciplined. As we see a huge hole. I didn't see any holding on the replay, but this is the thing you cannot do.
Number 83 on the offense. Still second down.
So the tight end, Tim Sherwin, the down will go over. But the line of scrimmage is back at the 15-yard line.
That's a brutal penalty for an offense to get when they're right on the goal line, Charlie. It's very difficult to get that yardage when you get down there, and it's very tough for Frank Cush. He can't be very happy about it all. You see him talking to Sherwood. He says, I didn't do anything, Coach. I didn't hold him. I just pushed him.
And it's a tough call for the Colts because basically they are a running game. Look at the penalty. Dolphins, again, very few. Always leading the league in fewest penalties. Second down, goal to go, 15-yard line. Pagel will be throwing here. As a man hits him, it's Dickey, and he's back to the 5-yard line. It's like the third time they've been to the 5-yard line. Third down, goal to go. Bob Brudzinski and William Judson were there for the Dolphins defense.
I'm impressed with Curtis Dickey. The man has world-class speed, but yet he has the power. You know, another man in the NFL, Eric Dickerson. When I saw him last year or 2 years ago at SMU, I was amazed at his quickness, his speed, but also his power. When he got to the end zone, instead of running around someone to score a touchdown, he would go in and run over him. Dickey's the same way. He doesn't run out of bounds. He sees those defensive backs. He says, I'm going to punish him.
Now, Dickey has come out for a breather. Middleton has replaced him. Third down, goal to go. Pagel, 5 of 5, 52 yards. You look for the throw here. Sprints out. Cox looks back over the middle. It's pulled down by Dave Young in the end zone.
Dave Young. Touchdown, Indianapolis.
It's a tough play to defense.
Oh, it's very tough. Dave Young was the third target on that play. He was rolling out, a lot of time to throw it into the corner. He looks back, and Dave Young is there. Dave Young was hardly running, Charlie. He was just kind of the outlet going down there. But the play was made by Mike Pagel. Cush was saying yesterday when we were talking to him that Mike Pagel is playing a lot better. His improvement is in his footwork. He can move around much better, but also he understands the offense much better. Mike Pagel is going to be a good quarterback.
Pagel completing 6 of 6, 57 yards, and the touchdown. Dean Biasucci to attempt the extra point for the tie. It's good. So with 12 minutes and 43 seconds left to go in the first half, we are tied at 7-7. The running of the Colts, the passing of the Dolphins. We'll be back in a moment.
It's Glenn Blackwood on the sideline. Appears he has some kind of a shoulder injury. We'll try and get a report for you and get back.
The ball game tied at 7-7. Kicking off with the wind. Biasucci will sail it to the uprights. Don't worry, it doesn't count for 3. Joe Carter was the deep back watching the ball sail across the crossbar. Miami will have the ball at their own 20-yard line, first down. And we'll be back in just a moment in this tie ball game. The score, the Colts 7 and the Miami Dolphins 7. We're in the Orange Bowl.
Today's game is brought to you by Jeep Corporation. There's a feeling you can get only in a Jeep. By IBM and PC Junior. There's a lot that's new about PC Junior, and it's all good news for you. And by International Harvester, a leading producer of trucks and agricultural equipment.
This is Charlie Jones, Bob Greasy. We're in the Orange Bowl. The temperature 84 degrees. The Miami Dolphins, this is only their second offensive possession of the football, with 12:37 left to go in the first half. The score tied 7-7. The Colts have had it twice. This is the second time for Miami from their own 20. Reno too high. It is incomplete, going to Duper. We'll bring it back to the 20. It'll be second down and 10. The report on Glenn Blackwood, that must have been a little ice pack or something, because it wasn't an injury. They were just checking out his shoulder pad.
I think he injured his shoulder, Charlie, to some degree, because they were putting some kind of an additional padding on his shoulder. And it looked to me like he may be back in the ballgame. It doesn't appear to be anything that serious.
Second down and 10. Nathan comes out. Joe Carter comes in. Marino 1 of 3 for 23 yards, now throwing into the wind. Marino has time. He goes deep. Has Duper. Duper has it. 80 yards into the wind.
The one thing the Colts had to do coming into this ball game, they wanted to do, was take Duper away. He runs a little out and up or hook and go on Burrows. The same play he was beat on last week, a little out. He jumps on the out and takes off right past him. Duper, they're not going to catch him. He could run on that same track team with Curtis Dickey.
In fact, he anchored his college team.
He certainly did.
Duper, 2 receptions, 103 yards, and the touchdown. The extra point is no good. Uwe von Schamann missing the extra point. He is not off to a good start. He is 0 for 3 on the season in field goal. Now misses the extra point. Here comes Duper. Here comes the commercial. It's a 13-7 ball game. Earlier on the Miami drive, we saw some of the Colts jumping off sides. They were caught. What happened?
Usually it's the quarterback's cadence, and I used to do that. I used to go on 1 the whole ball game, and when I needed somebody to jump off sides, I put it on 2 and say, set 390, 390, hut! And when it was on 2, they'd jump on 1. What I didn't know, Bob Kuchenberg was in the line, and occasionally when I'd say, hut, he'd open and close that hand. Now, the umpire was right there. He couldn't see it because he was blocked by the defensive man, but I thought I was doing it all myself, but I was getting a little help from Kuchenberg, the All-Pro.
So a lot of things go on that you can't necessarily see from the stands
that you don't
or
see
on television.
That's right.
And Kuchenberg is so sharp, of course, that he made sure that the defensive man was between himself and the line of sight.
The only time he ever do it.
Von Schamann kicking off, taken at the 14-yard line by Larry Anderson, and he is greeted. Longest pass play this season just a moment ago. That's Fernandez Burgess, number 82, special team specialist. We've got a timeout. The score, Miami 13, Indianapolis 7. We'll be right back. We're back at the Orange Bowl, where Miami is out in front of Indianapolis by a score of 13-7. And here is cornerback Don McNeil, missing last year with a ruptured Achilles, hit so hard that he hurts himself. He and Dwight Stevenson awarded the Silver Medal of Valor before the game. We'll tell you about that in a moment. Play action by Pago, looks left, comes back right, has his man. Good pass to the improved Tracy Porter. First down, gain of 18.
Number 87, Tracy Porter, tackled by number 28, Don McNeil.
If you were with us at the beginning of the game, you will have seen this play action, the scouting report by the Colts. Play action into the line of scrimmage. The flanker, 87, Tracy Porter, coming inside. McNeil right there, doesn't get much help from the linebackers on the zone. Comes in and makes a tackle.
Don and Dwight Stevenson awarded the Silver Medal of Valor before the game by the Miami Metro-Dade Police Department, the highest civilian honor bestowed by the department. There's still more. First down. Pago has pressure. Intercepted at the 49-yard line. Glenn Blackwood to the 10, the 5, dives to the 1-yard line. 50 yards on the return.
Charlie, I was just about to say, as you can see Glenn slapping his thigh because he didn't get in. I was just about to say that Blackwood is back in the ball game. His shoulder was not badly injured. He has a little bit better. Here you see Pago. It's a blitz. There's man-on-man coverage. Blackwood, the ball is a little bit thrown behind Young. Blackwood has good coverage, cuts in front of him, and then makes a beeline for the killer bees, as they call them. A beeline for the end zone and just misses getting in.
You could tell from the dive that he wanted to score. First down, goal to go. Pete Johnson is in. And here he is over the right side, but he's turned away by the coach. Cliff Odom, the first man to greet him for Indianapolis. It'll be second down, goal to go. Miami out in front 13-7, and a look at Glenn Blackwood. That is his fourth interception of the season for Glenn Blackwood, and it's the fourth time that Pago has been intercepted, and they're stuffing that stuffing back underneath like a turkey.
They're putting ice up under that shoulder. He probably jammed it a little bit, and there's some swelling in there trying to keep it down, but he doesn't want to come out of the ball game. He is the key to their defense. He is the man that makes all the calls, moves everybody around. He is the key that makes it go.
Play action fake. Bad pass. Almost intercepted by James Burrows. Nat Moore, the closest receiver. That was a poor selection by Marino.
He had the same situation last week against the Buffalo Bills. In play action, he's looking for Bruce Hardy. He's not open, looks back. All right, he looks back and he throws the ball poorly. You can see it almost end over end.
Should have been intercepted.
Defensive back was surprised it hit him right in the face mask. But that's the play you should make. That drive should have been stopped.
Now
Colts need to get that interception there.
Third down, goal to go. 1 yard line. Do you have to throw here?
I think you throw.
Here's Pete Johnson, and he does not go in. It'll be fourth down and goal to go.
Before Pete Johnson, they would have thrown.
Yeah. Uwe von Schaman has missed an extra point. He is 0 for 3 on the year in field goal.
Now this decision to go for the touchdown, Charlie, has no basis on what von Schaman has done either today or in the last 3 ball games. He is 0 for 3 this year in field goals. He missed an extra point, but Don Shula has confidence in him that he would make this field goal. He just wants to stick it in and go ahead 20-7 ahead of the Colts.
Woody Bennett is in along with Pete Johnson. Johnson. There is no signal. The Colts have held. Indianapolis takes over on down. A surprising turn of events.
A great goal line stand by the Colts, something that they really needed. We'll see here the defense in blue, of course. I think the defense gets the better part. Stevenson trying to get back. The defense went in low, and that's where they got their penetration. Stevenson, 57, did not get off the line of scrimmage. The Colt defensive line won the battle and therefore stopped Pete Johnson.
And you saw number 35, Tate Randall. He was kind of the cover man. If they're coming on top, I'll cover them. We'll be back. The Colts will have the ball on their own 1-yard line, so the Dolphin defense is in the ballgame. So a chance to quickly wrap up the Don McNeil story. The honor that they received, the highest civilian award bestowed by the police department of Miami, given to Don McNeil and Dwight Stevenson for their assistance last June in apprehending 3 men responsible for more than 30 break-ins in the Miami area. McMillan to the 5, the 10, and then out of bounds at the 15-yard line. A gain of 14 on a play. First down. Lyle Blackwood with the tackle. Let's check the scoreboard. A final, Pittsburgh coming from behind over Cleveland 20-10. That's a pretty close ball game until the last quarter.
0-4.
28-6. Jets by 2. 26-10. Washington winning that one. Rams out in front, winning by 10. San Francisco, they're 4-0. New Orleans over St. Louis. That's a bit of an upset. Atlanta defeating Houston. Big score there. Here are the scores. Miami 13, Indianapolis 7. Colts with the ball at their own 15-yard line. 9:56 left to go in the first half. McMillan just fighting back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be second down and 10. There's still one score remaining. Let's check that. There it is. Ooh, just by 1. Minnesota 29, Detroit 28. And here is our score. Miami 13 and Indianapolis 7.
That goal line stand, Charlie, was a big play for the Colts. After the big bomb from Marino to Duper got him out in front, the Dolphins, and then the interception by Blackwood, the throw into the end zone by Marino should have been picked off, and it wasn't. But then the goal line stand, now they got a little bit momentum coming back.
George Wansley has replaced McMillan. Here's Curtis Dickey. Dickey fumble. It is recovered by Miami. Glenn Blackwood pounces on the football. Second turnover. So Glenn Blackwood, sore shoulder and all, recovers the fumble. It was Don McNeil who jarred the ball loose.
We said earlier, Charlie, or you alluded to the fact that McNeil is a hard hitter. Watch 64 Utt go across your screen, throws a good block. Dickey cuts up inside. Now watch McNeil. McNeil hits him right there, shakes the ball loose. Blackwood, he's always in the right place at the right time. But Blackwood was there, but McNeil is the one that caused the turnover.
The ball at the Colts 24-yard line. Miami has possession, first down. Tony Nathan. Nathan to the 11-yard line. Gain of 13. First down. Nesby Glasgow with the stop. Well, they'll mark at the 12-yard line. Still a first down. 8 minutes, 43 seconds left to go, second quarter. Miami leading Indianapolis 13-7.
Gain of 11 yards.
Charlie, we've not seen Mark Clayton. Nat Moore has been in the entire ball game. Clayton with that groin injury.
Joe Carter. Carter a couple of yards to the 10. It will be second down and 8. Braceland was there along with Kafansis for the Colts. We have a score correction for you, and we want to update that. Cleveland. They were leading. Yes, Cleveland. That is the first victory for the Browns. Very important.
We take them from 0-4 to 1-3 in about a minute and a half time.
Fast turnaround. So congratulations to Rutigliano. Sam needed that one, their first win.
Nice man.
Pittsburgh struggling just a bit. But right now, Pittsburgh, I still think, is the class of the Central Division.
This is a good shot right here. You get to see what Marino is looking at. Back to the sideline view.
Second and 8. Throws. It is incomplete. Going to Dan Johnson, the tight end. Cliff Odom had the coverage. It'll be 3rd down and 8 at the 10-yard line. So the offense of the Dolphins sputtering a bit inside of the Colts' 20-yard line.
Exactly. You picked up on that. And it's a different ball game inside the 15-yard line, inside the 20-yard line. You obviously don't have as much area, but also the defense has changed. Your offense needs to change a little bit too.
3rd down and 8. 5 in the secondary for the Colts. Radachowski, obtained from the Rams out of Boston College, is in the secondary.
Here they come.
The blitz is on. And overthrow. Joe Rose, the intended receiver, so it'll be 4th down and 8 at the 10-yard line. And now we will see Uwe von Schamann. Go ahead, Bob.
Well, Charlie, they were blitzing, and we'll take a look at it. These linebackers right here will be coming in. This one will be coming in. Rose will come down and get to the middle, and somebody will be hanging around in here, but he's trying to go to Rose in the middle of the field, but the pressure on the quarterback is enough to get him to throw the ball a little bit too quickly. You see him throwing over the man that was short. Incomplete. Good defense by the Colts.
A 28-yard field goal attempt by Uwe von Schamann. 0 for 3 this season, and he's missed an extra point at this end, kicking into the wind. That'll get a little confidence back. It is good from 28 yards away. So Miami stretches their margin to 16-7 with 7:21 left to go in the first half. We'll be back. Officially, the field goal 27 yards for Uwe von Schamann. That changes that statistic, does not change the score. Miami 16, Indianapolis 7. Uwe von Schamann will be kicking off in the wind to either Phil Smith or Larry Anderson. Second quarter in the Orange Bowl. In case you joined us late, the temperature about 84 degrees. The field in excellent shape, even though college game played here yesterday, and the wind blowing from the east. Anderson. Larry returns to about the 17, maybe the 18-yard line. 12 yards on the return. Robert Sowell makes the tackle. Let's go back to the scoreboard. In the second quarter, Seattle 10 and the Chicago Bears 7. Chicago, one of 4 undefeated teams. Denver, this is a surprise, out in front of Kansas City in the second quarter. And Dallas, thought it might be a little closer than that, in front of Green Bay by 10. The Giants leading Tampa Bay. The Giants continue on their roll. And here it's Miami 16 and Indianapolis 7. First down, Colts. They're on 18-yard line. They'll stay in that running mode. Here's Randy McMillan, and that's why. He is a punishing runner out of the University of Pittsburgh. 6 feet even, 212 pounds.
Tackle by William Johnson.
Charles Bowser with the tackle.
Charlie, Randy McMillan was drafted by the Colts a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, but he was drafted. The Baltimore Colts, as they were then, had the choice right in front of the Miami Dolphins, and Shula really wanted a big fullback, and he was really after Randy McMillan out of Pittsburgh. The Baltimore Colts came up and take Randy McMillan, the choice before Don Shula and the Dolphins. So Shula has always liked McMillan. Of course, the Dolphins went on and took Andre Franklin, who is injured and out for the rest of the season.
First down for the Colts, a gain of 11 to the 29-yard line. Inside handoff to Curtis Dickey. Dickey across the 40. First down, 43 or 44-yard line, gain of 14. Lyle Blackwood with the tackle.
Good blocking by the offensive line. You'll see it. The left guard is going to pull right here and come around. Watch it as we take a look at it. The guard is going to be Ben Utt. Will pull and come around. Good play by the offense of the Colts.
Pago's pass is caught by Dave Young as we come back to live action. 28 yards to the 28-yard line.
First down, Colts.
In Miami territory, Indianapolis on the move, starting back at their own 18-yard line. They put together earlier an 80-yard drive in 13 plays, scoring their only touchdown. Now they're trying to piece together an 82-yard drive. And again, the key has to be the rushing attack. Randy McMillan gets the call this time. Charles Bowser is there. It will be no gain at the 28, second down and 10.
Charlie, really no surprise what we said going into the ball game as we look at the AFC leading the AFC in rushing. We said the Colts would run, and the Dolphins were going to pass. And it really has been the case this afternoon so far.
Indianapolis with 111 yards rushing. Now it's George Wansley and Frank Middleton as the two running backs. Second down and 10, so we expect Pagel to throw with these two men in the backfield. Little play action fake to hold the linebackers. On target at the 11-yard line. It is incomplete. Tracy Porter, the intended receiver, and Don McNeil hit him just as the ball got there. So it will be third down and 10.
Remember about 6 or 7, 8, 10 plays back, maybe the same play where Tracy Porter came down the field off of play action by Pagel and ran to the inside, and he caught the ball on McNeil. This time, the same play, McNeil didn't have as much field to cover because they're on the 27-yard line. Made a tougher play and made a good play. Don McNeil, tighter coverage, broke up the play to McNeil, but to Tracy Porter.
Three wide receivers now in the ballgame for the Colts as Matt Boozer joins Tracy Porter and Ray Butler. Pagel rolling out right, has pressure, and he is sacked. Doug Betters has his second sack of the game, and that is the third for the Dolphins. Betters has two, Baumhauer has one. And that was kind of a casual sack. He just cuffed him down.
Any way you can get him, Doug Betters will take it. A little sprint out to give him more time. Betters 75, fighting to the inside. Betters, the NFL Defensive Player of the Year in the league last year, just throws him down and says, I got you. Betters is an interesting player. He didn't always walk or ride where he goes. He flies his own airplanes, and now he says he wants to get into helicopters. He invited me to go up sometime.
What did you say?
I said, maybe in a couple years.
Here's a field goal attempt of 55 yards with the wind. All he has to do is be on target and get in his slow. May have been tipped. Let's see what happened, because in warm-ups he was doing this all the time.
See if he makes good contact with it. I think he just kicked it a little bit low, Charlie. Usually on a longer field goal, they'll kick it a little lower, try to get it over the line of scrimmage. Biasucci is kicking because Raul Alegre, who was the top kicker in the league last year, really, has a pulled hamstring and is not playing. He's here today, but Biasucci misses the field goal. We'll be right back.
4 minutes, 28 seconds left to go second quarter. It's Miami 16, Indianapolis 7. Dan Marino has completed only 2 of 7 passes, but they have been for 103 yards, an 80-yard touchdown pass, both completions to Mark Duper. Miami from their own 38-yard line, first down. Woody Bennett is the remaining back. Jensen is in, and Crash goes in motion. And it pulls around, and I believe Marino is simply throwing the ball away. It'll be second down and 10 at the 38-yard line. Let's go to New York City.
All right, Charlie, here are the Denver Broncos on the move at home in the second quarter against the Chiefs. John Elway looking for a receiver. The secondary target is the veteran tight end John Sawyer. He battles down to the Chiefs 15. Moments later, Sammy Winder scored from the 6. 7-0 Broncos.
Consider. Here it's Miami 16, Indianapolis 7. Eric Laxo is the injured player for the Dolphins, being assisted right now. The clock is stopped with 4:22. That is the time remaining in the second quarter. First quarter just went breezing by, and the second quarter is slowing down as we've seen more passes, more incompletions, and of course that stops the clock. Cleveland Green will come in for Laxo. Laxo will come out for one play. If he was to stay in, they would be charged with a team timeout, but they want to check him over even more. So maybe a little bit on the serious side. We'll have a report for you as soon as we can get that information from the Dolphins bench. Today's telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Miami Dolphins and the National Football League is prohibited. Second down and 10. This may be, we'll have to get a report on Laxo, because he is obviously in great pain as he comes to the sideline.
Laxo has been a very good offensive tackle for the Dolphins over the years, Charlie. He doesn't get much attention until they play the Jets, and he has to block Mark Gastineau. Then everybody wants to interview him all week.
Second and 10. Yard line, Woody Bennett. Gain of 9. Greg Brayson with the tackle. It'll be third down and a yard. Bennett replacing, of course, the injured Andre Franklin, out with a knee injury, out for the year. Woody's second carry has picked up a total of 18 yards, so he's got a nice little 9-yard average.
Dolphins are doing more running as we see Pete Johnson come in. I think going into the wind now. Of course, Marino hit his big play into the wind, but the wind is swirling down there, Charlie. Could have something to do with his low percentage passing. Reverse.
Fake to Pete Johnson, and the reverse to Nat Moore. Was airborne at the 49-yard line. James Burrows hit him. It'll be a first down.
Nat is not that young to be doing that. He's a veteran wide receiver, been around for a while. You see the fake to Johnson, and in the handback, they see this in the film study during the week. Nat Moore trying to get around the end, and now he says, I'm going to go over the top and try and get the yardage. Nat's been around too many years to be doing that. He's got some old bones in that body. It's still very productive.
Yeah, these bones are 33 years old. Marino rolling out. Throwing, and it is incomplete. Is that a busted play?
Almost intercepted, Charlie. Could have been intercepted. I couldn't tell whether it was a busted play or not. Let's take another look at it. We'll be able to see. No, that's a design. You see, he took 2 steps. C61 Foster. That's a design rollout where the guard comes out. Let's see if that ball didn't throw it very well, but the wind is coming into him. You got to give credit to the Colts secondary. Very young, has had some tough times in the past few weeks, but they're right there. Nobody is wide open. Good coverage, and with the wind, it's making it tough for the Dolphins and Marino. Take a look at Eric Laxo icing down his thigh or his knee.
He's going to go in and have that right knee x-ray. Joe Carter. Carter will pick up a couple of yards on the play. And so it will be third down and 8. Barry Krause, the leading tackler for the Colts, along with Greg Brayson, stopping.
2 yards.
We've talked about how pass-oriented the Dolphins are. They have yet to rush for 100 yards as a team in any of their 3 previous games this season, but as a team, they rushed for 58 yards today with 2:56 to go in the first half, so they're a little over halfway there. 5 in the secondary for the Colts. Third down and 8. Marino to throw. It's caught. Mike Duper. Defense makes the tackle. First down, 20 yards on the play. And here comes Super Duper.
Right at you. You see Tate Rando on the coverage. Man-to-man coverage. Good move to the outside. Heads back in. Rando stumbles. I think I'd stumble too if I had a man of that speed coming at me. But good coverage. Just had man-to-man. They're by themselves. Marino put it on the mark. 3
receptions, 123 yards, including that 80-yard touchdown reception. And Marino walking to the sideline. The reason? Well, we're coming up to the 2-minute warning. There it is. So we'll have an official timeout. 2 minutes left to go in the first half. With the score, the Miami Dolphins 16, the Indianapolis Colts 7. We'll be back to the Orange Bowl in just a moment. Here's a quarterback comparison. Dan Marino has completed 3 of 10, 123 yards and a touchdown. Mike Pagel of the Colts has completed 8 of 10 for 104 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Miami leading 16-7. First down at the Colts 28-yard line. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Both backs in the block. Cephalo has it out of bounds. Jimmy to the 12-yard line.
We'll take a look. We will see the receiver over here. He's going to go down, make a move to the inside, and break back to the outside. The tight end will run a shallow pattern. This is a good move on Burris. Burris has already been beaten deep one time. As we take a look, Cephalo comes off the line inside, fakes to the inside, and goes back out. That's just good patterns, Charlie.
Let me make a correction. I said the 12. It was the 7, a gain of 21 yards. First down, goal to go. Colts 7-yard line. Woody Bennett to the 5. He has a couple of the second down goal to go. Blaze Winter with the tackle, the number 2 draft choice out of Syracuse. Let's check the baseball scoreboard.
All right,
Cubs,
Cubbies.
8-1. First game of a doubleheader, rained out yesterday, as you know. So am I right? The Cubs now, magic number is 2.
Down to 2.
Down to 2.
That man's not interested in that, though.
Speaking of 2s, it's second down. Goal to go.
He is a baseball fan.
5-yard line. Timing pattern, and they both turned away. Duper turned back. Tate Randall turned with it. The ball just fell all alone on the green grass in the far corner.
Well, obviously, miscommunication. Sometimes, Charlie, the quarterback will give the wide receiver an option. As we look at the replay, the option to run one pattern to the other. Obviously, Marino thinks he's going to be looking to the outside. Now, see, 85 is Duper. He expected Duper to go straight down. Usually on a bump and run, they'll release right up the sideline and throw that ball over the defensive back's head. Duper thought he wasn't in bump and run. I'm going to run the little quick out. A little miscommunication. It happens.
Third down goal to go. 10th play of the drive, 5-yard line. Cephalo in motion. This one is drilled. Touchdown. Duper is second of the ball game. He beat Eugene Daniel, the rookie from LSU.
Take a look over here. It's Eugene Daniel and Mark Duper, and there is nobody else even close. He's going to run a little bit slant right into this area, and it's almost like taking candy away from the candy store. A little move to the outside. Daniel, the rookie, with a slight hamstring pull, cannot stay with him. Charlie, that's the kind of setups you like. You look to try and get a rookie on your best receiver. Little motion before the play, and the Dolphins got what they wanted.
Here's the extra point attempt. Struck to hole. Uwe von Schaub. It's good. That makes it 23-7. 59 seconds left to go. In the first half, as Dan Marino has now thrown 12 touchdown passes.
The motion had already come across. Maxwell, 56, tries to block his vision. Little sidearm shot. He knew he had all the room to the inside to throw because the safety had gone across the formation with the motion. That's good offensive planning and good execution by the Dolphins.
Be sure and stay with us in halftime. NFL 84 will be updating all the scores, the finals of the games that were played earlier, and updating the scores to halftime, the games going on the same time as this one. And don't forget, we'll have the AFL Remembered at halftime. Nostalgic look back.
I'm enjoying those pieces, Charlie. I know you spent some time doing it, and I think it's, at least I get very nostalgic looking back because I played in some of those years, but I haven't seen you talk about me on those things yet.
We haven't gotten to you yet. We're still back in the early 60s. We'll get to you.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Uwe von Schaub will be kicking off. Bill Smith and Larry Anderson are the deep backs on the return. Into the wind. Here's Anderson at the 7 to the 10. As a hole. 30. Returns to the 39-yard line. 32 yards on the return. And Bud Brown makes the tackle. Now the Colts go to work with 53 seconds left to go. Anderson, in the first half, Anderson comes limping out. The problem that the Colts face is that they're basically a running team.
And they're getting some injuries. Anderson, they've only got 7 defensive backs on the roster. 7 healthy ones. Anderson was one of them, came in with a little bit of a nick on a leg problem. He and Daniel were both hurt coming into the ball game. And of course, last week, Phil Smith ran one back for a touchdown. Let's take a look at the end of this and see if, I think right there, one of the Dolphins fell on his left ankle.
The Colts now with 3 receivers they'll have to throw. The Dolphins with extra men in the secondary. They obviously know that. They counter with a give to Curtis Dickey. Good defensive play. Nice adjustment by Paul Langford.
Langford has been in the Dolphins secondary for 3 or 4 years. Keeps trying to break into the weak safety spot ahead of Lyle Blackwood, but can't do it. He's a very valuable player in that secondary.
Hurry up offense, 2nd and 7. Pass far side. It is incomplete. Matt Bouza, the closest receiver, so it'll be 3rd down and 7 at the Colt 42-yard line. Clock is stopped now with 28 seconds left to go in the 2nd quarter.
3rd and 7.
And the one thing that Frank Kush did not want to happen has happened. He's gotten this far behind, 23-7. He's got to put the ball in the air.
Well, he doesn't want to throw every down, of course, with 28 seconds and the win. He just needs a couple completions, maybe one, to be in field goal range. So he'd like to get that opportunity to go in and try a field goal before halftime.
Miami's touchdown drive, 62 yards in 10 plays. 3rd down 7. Incomplete. Above the outstretched hands of Tracy Porter. So it'll be 4th down and 7. 23 seconds to go in the first half.
Watch the blitzing linebacker right here. Will open up one-on-one for Tracy Porter. Will release right inside here and try and catch the football. There's nobody around him. If they could have connected, there seemed to be a little bit of running room. Let's take a look. Inside release by Porter. Nobody in the middle. Just could have caught on to the ball. He could have had some running room. As it is, 4th down, and the Colts are punting.
Ron Stark, this would be his 2nd punt. His first one was 44 yards. This one, he has the win. Vince Heflin gives him a lot of room. Look at this. Woo! Takes it at the goal line. Back to the 10, the 15. And then is bumped out of bounds at the 19-yard line. A 58-yard kick. Radachowski knocking him out at the 19-yard line, maybe the 20. 10 seconds now left in the half.
Charlie, I played for a few years for Don Shula, and I sat in a few of those special team meetings. After you play the game, you go look at the films, and I guarantee you that he does not want his return people catching the football on their own goal line. There could have been a lot of negatives and not many positive happening about that. Could have fumbled the football. But that is something that the young Vince Heflin will learn in time. He'll learn it about Tuesday morning at 9:30.
He'll know by 9:31, I suspect. 10 seconds left to go. First half. Miami will be content here just to run out the clock in the first half. And so the first 2 quarters come to a close with the score at halftime. Miami 23 and Indianapolis 7. Don't forget at halftime, NFL 84 with all the scores and highlights of NFL action today. We're in the Orange Bowl and the Dolphins lead. Welcome back to the Orange Bowl. I'm Charlie Jones along with Bob Greasy. At the top of the show, we said the keys to the game would be run, 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 and pass, pass, pass. Well, for the Colts, they rushed for 114 yards to Miami's 59 in the first half, and the Dolphins passed for 149 yards to Indianapolis's 86.
Well, I think it's gone just about the way it has. I think the 2 turnovers that the Colts did, or whatever you want to call it, they threw an interception and they had dropped the fumble, are a big factor in the ball game. But they'll come out and do the same thing. The Colts have got plenty of time. They're 16 points down. They'll come out and run and throw the same way.
Do you think they'll change that offense at all? Would they throw a little bit more?
Well, I don't think so. I think they still have plenty of time. 2 quarters to come out and win the football game. The wind is still blowing very hard, so, you know, Pagel works best when he runs and then throws.
What about Miami?
Well, Miami, of course, still trying to get their running game going, obviously. They'd like to run some. They're also going to throw. Marino has done pretty well today. His percentage isn't as high, but the results are still the same.
And we'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. Set to start the second half, Dean Biasucci kicking off with the wind, but into the sun. And Joe Carter is the deep back, and the wind blows the ball off the tee. Temperature at game time at 4 o'clock in Miami was 84 degrees. It'll drop a little as we get towards the evening. But the wind is staying about the same, about 20 miles an hour. So the Colts will have the wind in the third quarter. They're down 23-7. And Carter will down the ball in the end zone.
Kick is 5 yards deep in the end zone.
And will bring the ball out to the 20-yard line.
21st and 10.
Offensively for the Dolphins, it'll be Dan Marino at quarterback. We'll see Tony Nathan and Woody Bennett as the running backs. Jimmy Cefalo has been in there for Mark Clayton. Clayton with that groin injury, not playing in the game. They were going to wait, when we talked to them yesterday, until warm-up today to make sure. Mark Duper, of course, as a wide receiver, 2 touchdown receptions. Dan Johnson will be the tight end. We'll also see Bruce Hardy and a lot of Joe Rose. That offensive line, Geisler, Foster, Stevenson, Newman, and Cleveland Green replacing Eric Laxo as a knee injury. We do not have a further report. So Miami goes to work, and here's Woody Bennett. And the Colt defense goes to work, led by Greg Bracelet. Barry Krause also there. For the Colts, basically, we'll see Blaze Winter, Leo Wisniewski, Leo, Johnny Cooks, as that front three with Braceland, Odom, Krause, and Maxwell as the linebackers with Burroughs. And now Preston Davis, is that correct? Yes, Preston Davis is on right corner replacing the rookie Eugene Daniel. Davis is a free agent out of Baylor, and with Larry Anderson and Nesby Glasgow at the safety.
You know, they've really got to be in tough straits in that secondary. Preston Davis, 27, just came in. They just picked him up this week. They have a lot of injuries in the secondary. Preston Davis playing the right corner.
Second down and 9. Little play action, and the pass is complete. Coming to Duper in the right flat. Greg Braceland makes the tackle.
Charlie, Preston Davis, 27, is the third man to wear 27 for the Colts this year. The other 2 were waived. One of them was waived twice. So,
do you have a? Could you refuse the number? Do you have a choice?
Give me another number.
Do you have a number that's a bit more permanent?
But it really tells you. It tells you, as we look at Mark Duper with 5 catches and 2 touchdowns, 133 yards, that the secondary of the Colts is really crippled at this point in time in the ballgame.
Third down and 4. Miami at their own 26. They have Larry Anderson for Cavences, who started, and they have Preston Davis for Eugene Daniel, who started. Glasgow and Burroughs are still in as starters, and the pass is dropped at the 41-yard line. And that's not the strongest secondary. That is an area the Colts need to be working on. So it'll be 4th down and 4, and that means that Reggie Roby will be kicking for the first time in the ball game.
Look at the pass protection. Cleveland Green, 74. Newman, 64, has his man down. Little bit low. I tell you, Charlie, when you're throwing the football into the wind or with the wind or the wind is not, it takes the ball a little bit. Even when you're throwing into it, it knocks the ball down, and when you're throwing with it, it'll sail a little bit. So it's tough throwing. Pagel seems to be doing it much better than Marino today. Much better percentage, although Marino's had some bombs.
Reggie Roby kicking into the wind. Larry Anderson set for the return, so the Colts get a very good field position on their first offensive possession in the third quarter. Fair catch is taken at the 31-yard line. 44 yards on the kick into the wind. And so now the Indianapolis Colts will go to work. For the Colts, Mike Pagel will be the quarterback, and most of the time we'll see Curtis Dickey and Randy McMillan as the 2 running backs. Tracy Porter and Ray Butler the wide receivers. Dave Young is the tight end. That offensive line, Clinton, Hutt, Donaldson, Solt, and Mills. Colts at their own 31-yard line. McMillan runs into traffic. He may get a yard on the play, but that will be stretching it a bit. Bob Baumauer with the tackle. Defensively for the Dolphins, Betters, Baumauer, and Bokamp are the front three. Rudzinski, Brophy, Brown, and Bowser, the linebackers. So there's 7 of the Bs. Blackwood brothers are at safety, so 9 of the Killer Bees are there. So that leaves Don McNeil and William Judson, who are petitioning, I think, to change their last name. They mark it for no gain. 2nd down and 10. Play action fake. Pagel rolls right into the arm of Bob Rudzinski for the 4th sack for the Dolphins. He just made a bad choice. Rolled the wrong way.
Rolled right into the way the Dolphins were coming. We'll take a look. 64 Utt is pulling a little play action. Donaldson does not block 73, Baumauer. And because Baumauer is in the backfield, he had to keep rolling. He should have pulled up. He wanted to pull up. But because Baumauer was in the backfield, he had to keep going. Brzezinski was there to make the sack.
4 sacks, a loss of 30 yards. The last one, a loss of 12. 3rd down, 22. Matt Musa comes in. 3 wide receivers now for the Colts.
This is where the Dolphins are so tough, Charlie. Nickel, pass rush.
A miscue on the handoff to McMillan. But he still struggles out to the 26-yard line, picks up 7. It'll be 4th down and 15, and that means that Ron Stark will be kicking with the win. Now, Stark is a left-footed kicker. We mentioned this. You know, we have a lot of left-handed passers, and it's not that hard for the receivers because they catch the passer, you know, throughout the week. But you don't return left-footed punts that often, so that spin could give a little added bit of thrill to the return.
Well, the reason being, Charlie, the ball is spinning and it curves when it comes down, and it comes down opposite, of course, from a right-handed punter, right-legged punter. There aren't many left-legged punters around, so the receiving men don't get an opportunity to catch that many.
Vince Heflin is the deep back, and he takes it on the hop at the 21-yard line. Not that good a kick with the win, but the ball will be at the 26-yard line. Eugene Daniel down in the coverage. Wasn't that good a kick? Are you ready for this? 53 yards with a 5-yard return. We have 11 minutes and 40 seconds left to go. 3rd quarter, the Dolphins lead at 23-7. This is Charlie Jones, Bob Greasy. We're in the Orange Bowl in Miami, where the Dolphins are out in front of the Colts 23-7. Miami, one of 4 undefeated teams in the National Football League. The 49ers won today. They're now 4-0. The Dolphins out in front here, they're 3-0. The Raiders and the Bears, the other 2 undefeated teams, they're playing at the same time as this game. Pass is incomplete. Jim Jensen, the intended receiver, will be 2nd down and 10.
Take a look at the pass blocking. 57 Stevenson on Wisniewski, 69. That's the problem with the nose tackle. He always has a guard to the right or to the left of the center that he has to battle. If he beats the center, he's got a guy like Ed Newman or an offensive tackle, a guard like Foster, he has to beat. It's a tough position to play, especially against an all-pro like Stevenson.
2nd down and 10. It is dropped to the 30-yard line. Duper almost made another, well, I hate to say it, another super play. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it.
Well, again, the Dolphins are going at 27. Preston Davis, just signed by the Colts earlier this week. This ball is up for grabs. Davis does a good job covering him. He's right there man for man. The only thing Davis doesn't do is see the ball. Duper sees it, comes back for it. Should have caught it, Charlie. He was looking back into the sun,
What
though.
if that was a problem, looking back into the sun?
I'm sure it was. You see the long shadows going that way, but the Colts are really hurting in the defensive secondary, injury-wise.
3rd down and 10. Reno scrambling, then just kind of a shovel pass to Tony Nathan. 3 yards to the 29. It'll be 4th down and 7. Cliff Odom was there for the Colts. And so Reggie Roby will be kicking for the 2nd time in the ball game. And Larry Anderson is set for the return. Don Shula, the head coach.
There's been some talk about Shula mellowing over the years.
He was shouting at me yesterday at practice, so I know that he hasn't mellowed.
Well, he just did that just to show you who was boss.
Oh, I knew who was boss. There wasn't a question in my mind. Here's his kick. This is a good one. Into the wind. It will be down at the 4-yard line. Listen to the ovation. Yards. What about that, Mark? Left Mark Herman on the right. That's Art Schleister.
Art Schleister and Mark Herman. Herman coming off of a broken right thumb on his throwing hand. They don't really feel like he's going to be ready to play for a couple of weeks. And of course, Art Schleister is.
Herman's got a clipboard in his left hand.
He certainly does. Charting the plays. He's watching the plays and the defenses. The quarterback will read it when he comes off between plays.
Colts from their own 4-yard line. Curtis Dickey has a yard to the 5. Mark Brown makes the tackle.
See, he'll write down the play, the offensive play. Now he's going to find out what the defense was, and he'll write that down. Now he'll also find out what the next play is, because the Colts call their plays from the sideline. Okay, he said the defense was a 34 zone, and this play is going to be a I whatever, toss 39 straight or 34 trap or whatever. So he's got the play already. Now he needs the defense.
Does he put down the results of the play also?
Oh, he certainly does.
All right. Pago's pass intercepted at the 10-yard line. Spinning towards the end zone is Don McNeil.
Charlie, that was just a great alert play by McNeil. The pass was a little bit thrown behind the receiver, but McNeil, we talked about him a little bit earlier in the telecast, coming back from Achilles' heel. He tore the Achilles tendon in his heel last year. Pago rolling out, throws the ball behind the receiver. The receiver knocks it in the air. McNeil with a great presence to take the ball into the end zone. But what a great comeback he's made. He is one of the top corners in the National Football League.
And he was showing that Achilles was on his, it was his right Achilles, and they took part of the upper leg and then they replaced it. They did a little skin graft and wrapped it. That Achilles behind his right ankle is about twice as thick as on the left side.
But he is moving around very well, and the Dolphins are very happy to have him back.
29-7, now going for 30. Uwe von Schamann adds the point after. 9:53 left to go in the third. Here is Don McNeil at work. That is his second career touchdown. 8 minutes, 53 seconds to go in the third. Miami on their way to their 4th victory of the season against no defeats. We're in the third quarter as Uwe von Schamann will be kicking off to either Phil Smith or Larry Anderson. Anderson fields it, and he will down it a couple of yards deep in the end zone. So the Colts will go to work at their own 20-yard line, first down. Let's check the scoreboard of the games that are going on now. Chicago, they're 3-0, but they're trailing Seattle in the third quarter by 3. Denver out in front of Kansas City. That's an upset working. Third quarter, Mile High Stadium. And Dallas leading Green Bay 13-0 in the third quarter. And the Giants out in front of Tampa Bay by a score of 10-0. And here again, it's Miami 30 and Indianapolis 7. The Colts at their own 20-yard line, first down. Mike Pago is the quarterback. As pressure in the pass is incomplete to Curtis Dickey. It'll be second down and 10. Now, from an Indianapolis Colts standpoint, they trail 30-7. A lot of time A lot of football still to be played. The turnovers, of course, now 3-0. That's one of the reasons. But from an attitude and a building standpoint, every snap is important for the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, it is, Charlie. They just can't run the entire game. Obviously, at certain times, you're going to get behind. They have to build throwing first, running second at this point. And this will help them down the road. If not this game, then next week and the weeks ahead this season and next season.
Randy McMillan is stopped at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
The score is not so important to them now as far as executing plays, making first downs, and scoring touchdowns.
Doug Betters with the last tackle. And you can relate to this because of what happened in your career when you first came with the Dolphins.
My first 3 years, the Dolphins were an expansion team, and we had a lot of problems. George Wilson was the coach. Frank Cush is going through a lot of the pains that George Wilson went through in those early years of the Dolphins, but I'll tell you, you have to go through it. You have to be behind by 23 points, and the players have to feel like, hey, I'm behind, but I don't want to be behind like this very often. Let's play better.
Bagel has completed 8 of 14, 104 yards, and a touchdown is hit just as he makes his release by Charles Bowser. It'll be 4th down and 10, so Mike Bagel throwing under a lot of pressure.
This is a situation the Colts or any other team does not like to be in, obviously, but you got the nickel defense in and a hard rush. Good coverage. I can't see who got to him.
Bowser,
the linebacker, rushing from the outside, but it's tough when you're in this situation. The Colts didn't want to play catch-up. The Dolphins have been doing this a lot, getting way ahead, and then the other teams have to play catch-up on it.
Ron Stark will be kicking with the wind. Vince Heflin is set for the return. He has pressure, but he gets it off. It's a good one. Fielded and then dropped at the 11-yard line. Picked up back at the 8. Into the 15 and then 10. Eugene Daniel making the tackle down on the special team. 8 minutes, 34 seconds. That is the time remaining here in the 3rd quarter. This kick, 68 yards with a 5-yard return. Blackwood brothers. Glenn Blackwood, number 47, and Lyle Blackwood, number 42. Glenn with an interception and a fumble recovery in the ball game for the Dolphins. Miami at their own 16-yard line, first down. 30-7, Dolphins lead. Joe Carter, 6 yards to the 22. Odom with the tackle. 2nd down and 4. Let's check the baseball scoreboard. Minnesota 5, Cleveland 1. That's the final. That's the first game of a doubleheader, right? 8-1 final. And the Mets 6-1. Mets winning, so the Cubs' magic number is 2, and they'll play the second game of the doubleheader. Speaking of baseball, we have a little tidbit for you after this play. 2nd down and 4. Cephalo coming back in motion to the top of his screen. Woody Bennett, 34-yard line. Gain of 11. James Burrows with the tackle. This is as good as I've seen Woody Bennett run.
And the entire running game is coming alive. Watch 57 Stevenson after he snaps the ball on Wisniewski. Newman, 64, helps him out. Ball runs right up the middle. Good blocking by the offensive line. I think the line blocking, Charlie, has been there for the offensive line of the Dolphins. The holes have been there. The backs are not getting there at the right time. Woody Bennett has been running better today. Joe Carter is running very well. It's a matter of timing, getting there when the hole is there in the offensive line.
Woody Bennett's averaged just over 6 yards, 5 carries, 32 yards. A little play action fake. Woody hangs on to this one down the sideline. 45-yard line of the Colts. First down, a gain of 21 yards.
Bennett just sneaks out of the backfield as we take a look. Little play action. Looks deep. Nobody's open deep, so he dumps it off short. Krause, 55, is supposed to have the coverage, and Duper comes back and makes a block, or at least gets in the linebacker's way, allows Bennett to pick up a lot more yardage.
I mentioned this in the first half. I think it's worth mentioning again. I wouldn't wonder if Woody Bennett woke up this morning and said, now they've got Pete Johnson as a running back. What about me? And I'll show him today.
Well, you know, players think about that. Although Shula said he's very happy with everything that Woody Bennett has done, he still hears him also say, we need another big back. And he says, I better get my my act in gear and get going.
Joe Carter, the ball carrier. Cliff Odom with the tackle. Carter, 7 carries, 30 yards. The ball at the 42-yard line of the Colts. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Now, Charlie, we were talking about the Colts getting something out of the rest of this game. The Dolphins, too, can work on their running game to get it going for next week.
And there is another factor for the Dolphins. Here's Marino to throw. Has the blitz. Dumps it off. Read the blitz and dumped it off. That's exactly what I was saying. Vernon Maxwell with the pressure. Now, Marino has not had that many stamps over his career.
As we look at Maxwell blitzing, and that is the job of the quarterback. He sees him blitzing as we see him get dumped. Not too bad. That's all right. As the quarterback has to get rid of the ball. But as you're saying, Marino had that many snaps, but I'm interested in who Shula is going to put in. Is he going to put in Strock, the ace reliever, or is he going to go to Jensen, number 11?
Go to Jensen, number 11.
He's got to go change his shoulder pads.
That's right. Marino has completed 8 of 18, 177 yards and 2 touchdowns. 3rd down and 6. It is pulled down by Joe Rose. 1st down. Gain of 10. Barry Krause with the tackle. And do you realize that the Dolphins have not drawn a flag in this ballgame? Not one penalty flag.
Well, of course, I think everybody knows by now that the Dolphins are the least penalized team in the NFL the last 6 or 7 years. And it all gets down to discipline. You know, you don't do it in practice. He doesn't allow it in practice. And you don't do it in a game. And if you do, then somebody else is going to be in your position. There's Don Strock, the ace reliever we were talking about. He even has a baseball cap on his warm-up jacket.
Incomplete. 2nd down and 10, 32. Preston Davis in the coverage. Interesting that you should mention baseball. I have a little trivia question for you.
Okay.
Who playing on the field right now was a 4th-round draft pick of the Kansas City Royals in 1979 as a baseball player?
I got that one. That's easy. I'll let it sink in a little bit. See if our viewers at home might want to pick up on that.
Yes, you do know that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You're sure? I might change the answer. 2nd down and 10 at the 32-yard line. Carter.
Carter is about here.
30-yard line, maybe the 29. James Burrows makes a tackle. Greg Braceland also there, and in hot pursuit was Vernon Maxwell.
3rd down and 7.
56, Vernon Maxwell. Normally a linebacker gets down as a defensive end. This man can run. Has 3 sacks. He just wants to get there. He's going over Newman, everybody. You need that kind of hustle and play on your defensive team. Maxwell certainly has got it. Now he's getting his win back.
NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year last year. The Colts now with 5 in the secondary. 3rd down and 7. Cephalo in motion. Marino over the middle. The pass is complete, but short, way short of the 1st down. Cephalo on the receiving end, and Larry Anderson with the tackle. They'll spot the ball at the 27-yard line, so a gain of a couple. The 4th down and 5, and Uwe von Schamann comes in with a field goal attempt.
Well, I bet I wasn't a defensive player that was.
No, you know who it is. Tell me.
Well, it's got to be a quarterback. I mean,
Right.
Quarterbacks can play different sports.
I knew we'd get to that. Dan Marino, the 6th quarterback taken in the '83 NFL draft. He was 4 years earlier, 1979, the 4th-round draft pick of the Kansas City Royals. 44 yards on the field goal attempt by Uwe von Schamann, out of the hold of Don Strock and into this 20-mile-an-hour wind. And it's low, partially blocked, and it's no good.
Field goal is no good.
Let's see what happened.
It seemed like I don't know, Charlie, he's kicking it into the wind. Hit it good.
Is there a tendency into the wind just to try a little harder?
I think you have to kick it harder, and therefore you have to kick it lower. He's kicking a 45-yard field goal. Someone in the middle of the line tipped it, but you have to kick it harder into the wind.
Back for the Colts. His statistics in 1982, did not play last year, as you know, a 1-year suspension for gambling. His first appearance during this regular season. Had a good preseason. And he opens with a handoff to Curtis Dickey. 31-yard line, gain of 4, second down and 6.
Mike Pagel, Charlie. I think this is a good move. The Colts are 30-7. They're behind. Pagel has played well the first 3 games. He's kind of stalled. Put the other quarterback in. Maybe he can get the team moving. And it's also going to be good work for Schleister. Schleister looked good in the preseason, as you said, and his whole attitude has changed from a couple of years ago. He's interested in it now, whereas a couple of years ago, I don't think he really was.
Second down and 6. Porter coming in motion. Curtis Dickey. And the flag is down. Dickey comes just outside the 35-yard line. Holding against the Colts. So they'll bring it back. Red Cashin, the referee.
Holding by number 53 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still 7 down.
The call on the center, Ray Donaldson. The Dolphins have not even had a flag. Not a flag. Coach, that's not bad. 5 for 49.
5 for 49 is not bad at all either.
Second down, 16. Curtis Dickey.
Hart saying, okay, I've ran 3 plays. I'm ready to throw one. Give me the. He's looking over to Zeke Bretkowski, the offensive coordinator, the quarterback coach for the Colts. Says, I want a passing play. Give me one now. That's Frank Cush, the offensive coordinator. Says, I'm ready to throw a pass. Let me see one now. Of course, he's done much better. Zeke has said that he has really come back from his suspension. He's really into it. He really played well in the preseason. He's looking for some playing time.
Third down and 15. Has pressure. Scrambles away. Gains a little time. Drops the ball in the air out of his hand. Recovered his own fumble. You couldn't call that a pass to reception, although we saw that happen last week when Fouts had one deflected and then he caught his own.
He can move around too. Pagel and Schleister can both move. Pressure from Bowser going around the outside. When you're going to your left away from the line of scrimmage, it's just better to tuck it away. That's happened to me a few times. Now he's talking to Tracy Porter about coming back to me. Don't run away from me. Come back towards me so I can get the ball to you.
Ron Stark will be kicking to Vince Heflin. Stark's longest kick, 72 yards in this game. He is averaging today 56.8 yards. Taken at the 32-yard line by Heflin. A little fake inside, has some room. He's to the 50, to the 40. Good return near the 30-yard line. 52-yard kick and a 38-yard return. Mark Kabensis saved the touchdown. Jim Jensen with a key block, number 11.
He really did, Charlie. I don't know if we'll be able to see it, but coming up from the right side of your screen, if you'll see it maybe, Jim Jensen gets a key block right there. Number 11.
Number 11.
He's got his special team pads, shoulder pads on today. Certainly not his quarterback pads, although he may need them later on because Shula may put him in to spell Dan Marino.
The ball at the Colts 31-yard line. Miami has a first down. 1:49 left to go in the third. Nat Moore in motion. Marino throws far side to Duper. Duper down the sideline. Spinning out of a tackle, a little head fake. And Nesby Glasgow saved the score. First down, goal to go.
You know, the thing that's amazing about Duper, first of all, he catches the ball with his hands. Now, watch the quick feet as he works on Preston Davis. Watch his feet right here. Reminds me of Paul Warfield. Quick feet and also quickness. How he turns around, catches the ball, and then gets up the sideline. He is the best guy on the sidelines I've seen since Paul Warfield.
Duper, 6 receptions, 159 yards. He has scored 2 touchdowns, and that's just today. He has scored 6 touchdowns already this year. Woody Bennett. Pete Johnson leading the way. Woody Bennett with the touchdown.
Pete Johnson leads the way. Woody Bennett stretching it wide and then cutting back up inside as Johnson gets just enough of Davis to get him into the end zone.
And who set it up? Well, Vince Heflin set it up with that outstanding punt return. Extra point attempt is good. And the Dolphins now stretch the margin to 30 points. It's Miami 37 and Indianapolis 7. Now let's go to New York City for an update.
Well, Charlie, as the Dolphins are on their way to becoming 4-0, it looks like Denver's going to be 3-1. Todd Blackledge trying to rally the Chiefs, but the deflected pass winds up in the hands of Mike Harden, who brings it back 45 yards for a touchdown. And at Mile High Stadium, the Broncos lead 21-0. Charlie.
Thank you, Bob. 21-0. I am really surprised because Kansas City played so well against the Raiders last week.
They certainly did, Charlie. They came out playing, won their first 2 ball games, played very well against the Raiders. Of course, they're going into Denver. Denver playing at home, and Denver can be tough at home.
Here's a little footnote to this ball club you're looking at. The Dolphins had the best winning percentage in the AFC over the past 4 seasons in games which they led at the halftime, and they led at halftime here by a score of 23-7. Over the last 4 years, in games that they have led at halftime, they have won 23, lost only 1. That was on the road. They are 12-0 at home over that period. Today they'll make it 13-0. Uwe von Schamann will be kicking off.
Tough to beat in the Orange Bowl, Charlie, as you were just talking about. Some other teams around the league have that type of thing, but not as much as the Dolphins, I don't believe.
Anderson from the 1-yard line. And he returns 19 yards to the 20-yard line. Robert Sowell with the tackle. The Colts have the ball on their own 20-yard line, first down. For Mark Duper, the Miami Dolphins, this is his best day as a professional. 6 receptions, 159 yards, and 2 touchdowns. His previous best was against Seattle in the playoffs. 9 receptions, 117 yards, and a touchdown. Larry Anderson is the injured player, being assisted from the field of battle. Join us next Sunday, another great afternoon of NFL football on NBC Sports. The day will begin with NFL 84 and your host, Bob Costas. Then some of you will see the dynamic duo again, Dan Marino and Mark Duper, as they lead the Dolphins against the St. Louis Cardinals. At halftime, again, we'll be taking a nostalgic look back at the American Football League and the AFL Remembered. So check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Your team plays here next Sunday on NBC. Schleister, far side, knocked away. John McNeil knocked it down. Ray Butler, the intended receiver. It'll be second down and 10. Defensively for the Dolphins, that front 3 is now Charles Benson, Bill Barnett, and Mike Charles. By the way, happy birthday to number 71 for the Dolphins. Mike Charles, he is 22 years old today, as Vetters, Baumhauer, and Bocamper come out for a rest.
He'll be looking for a nice big birthday cake after the ball game. I think he is the first player ever to weigh over 300 pounds on a Don Shula coach team.
And get away with it.
And get away with it on Thursday when they weigh him in.
after his sack. Sack number 6. Bill Barnett got this one. And while we're on the birthday subject, we'll come back after the replay.
Schleister is looking for Ray Butler, number 80, and Ray Butler is being covered like a blanket by McNeil. You have to come to somebody else. I don't know if Butler was really trying that hard. It didn't look like he was, like he knew he was the primary receiver, because McNeil had him covered, and Butler was just coasting.
The right tackle for the Colts, Jim Mills, is celebrating his 23rd birthday today. So happy birthday to Jim. Number 76 on the right side. And here's Curtis Dickey. Right to the 20-yard line, so it'll be 4th down and 10. Don McNeil making the tackle. He's been very active today. And with that play, that is the end of the 3rd quarter. The score, Miami 37, Indianapolis 7. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Ron Stark will be kicking for the Colts. Now, he's one of the NFL's best punters. Last year, he led the NFL averaging 45.3 yards per punt, but he surrendered the most return yards because he outkicks his coverage. His average today is 55.8 yards, but Miami's return average is over 14 yards. And Vince Heflin has a 37-yard return. Dolphins will stay away from this one. The ball will be down at the 44-yard line. So Miami will take over on their own 44-yard line. Let's go to New York.
All right, Charlie, this is the last out as the Cubs sweep a doubleheader today in St. Louis. Lonnie Smith of the Cardinals lines out. Nice play by Leon Durham. Won the first game 8-1. The nightcap 4-2. They have clinched a tie for the championship in the National League East. Back to Charlie Jones.
Thank you, Bob. The magic number, though, to win is still 1, right? Like you said, they've clinched the tie, but 1 away, and it's theirs alone. Miami now from their own 44-yard line, 1st down. Carter kind of a little hip fake inside. He came outside to the 45-yard line, so it'll be 2nd down and 9. So it'll be the Padres and the Cubbies, Detroit, and a team to be mentioned later in the West.
Minnesota, Kansas City. Dolphins are working on the running game.
California. Don't forget the Angels.
Mark Herman decided to sit down while the offense is off the field with his charting the plays, and he hopes to be back in a couple of weeks, but it's tough when you have an injury on your throwing hand.
Marino has completed 11 of 22, 216 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'm surprised he's still in there. I thought pass complete to Super that by now that Shula would take him out. Maybe on the next series?
Well, I think the next series he'll either have Jensen or Strock in there. You know, Marino wears a brace on his knee, Charlie. It's not one of these smaller braces. It's a full-size, it's a Lenox Hill type brace, and he had surgery on his knee at the end of last year. He hurt it late in the year, and in the offseason had some surgery. And I think he wears it more as a preventative measure than he does for any problem that he has. But, you know, he's got the big rib pads on, as you can see there, and the guy is big. I mean, you come up to him, and he's a large quarterback.
1st down following that last gain of 12 yards. Here's Joe Carter. Carter has 3 to the 40. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Cliff Odom with the tackle.
Tackle by number 93, Cliff Odom.
Marino, the leading quarterback in the National Football League. Coming into this game, as you saw a moment ago, just clipping along at 70%, is Joe Carter. 10 carries and 37 yards for the rookie out of Alabama. He could have played last week. There's that chart that you've been talking about. This one on the Dolphins side.
You can see
left-handers at work
what
there
he
on
does.
the chart.
He's writing down the yardage on the field as Johnson, and he writes down the play, of course, in the defense, and then the quarterback will come over and take a look at it every now and then.
2nd and 7. Here's Carter. Breaks through, spins his way to the 29, leads to the 28-yard line. Has 12. Barry Krause with the tackle. And it's a 1st down. Preston Davis finally stops it.
Good shot of Newman, 64. Carter looking for a hole. Just got to tuck that ball away. Ball's hanging out there. You'll get knocked out. The Colts, of course, Tough defensively against the run. Their problem has been in the secondary, Charlie. They've had so many injuries coming into the ball game, and a couple, they've really been in tough straits. They even had to play Preston Davis, defensive back that hasn't had much time in there.
Pump fake, Duper. No. Duper already has caught 7 for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Preston Davis.
Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy.
Davis, 27, is saying, hey, give me a break. I've only been here for 3 or 4 days. I hardly know where to line up. Davis was with the New England Patriots, made it to the last cut, and then was released, but was added to the Colts this week when they had problems in the defensive secondary, and is getting his baptism under fire as far as wearing the Colt blue is concerned.
398.
Second down in town.
Miami Dolphins. Thank you.
John Sandusky on the right there, the offensive line coach, has to be proud of his troops. Led the league in fewest sacks last year, the offensive line, and they're ahead again this year. At the end of the game, only 1 sack on Marino.
Pass is complete to Jim Jensen at the 15-yard line. Gain of 13. First down. Now take a good look at this man in the shoulder pad. We've mentioned this before. Bob and I both expect him to be the quarterback on the next series for the Dolphins.
How many quarterbacks have you ever seen, Charlie, that wears a neck roll?
That's true. And he has a double chin strap.
And a bar down the front of his face mask. You know, he says, where do you want me, Coach? Am I a flanker, tight end? Let me go quarterback. He threw his arms up. I don't know where to line up.
I asked you, what about running back? And what was your answer when you talked to him?
He said, shh, don't give him any ideas.
That did not appeal to him. Here's Carter, a yard to the 14. Barry Krause with the tackle. It'll be second down and 9. With that yard, Miami now has 109 yards rushing. This is their first 100-yard rushing game this year. And that's combined. That's everybody. Not one individual. That's the team rushing effort. They're not known for their ground attack this year.
It's really strange because in the past, the Dolphins have been known for their ground attack, but that's the strength of a Don Shula coach team. He will change with the abilities of his players. And he knows that he's got some speed on the outside and a young man that can throw the ball well, and he's going to it.
Jensen incomplete. Advances hit him, and Jensen has hurt him. He get caught in the ribs. Is that what it is?
It looks like he got hit in the ribs, I would say. As he was stretched out, he got the wind knocked out of him. We'll take a look at it. Defense is 29. Jensen comes off the line, just runs a slant. Right there. Hello, Jim Jensen. Who was it that hit him? That was Odom, 93.
Cliff Odom, formerly number 49. They had to change it to 93 as a linebacker, and boy, he really caught him in the air.
Jensen says, I never got hit like this when I was playing quarterback.
Now he knows what it's like to be a receiver.
He got laid out a little bit, didn't he?
We've got a timeout. We'll be back in just a moment. Jensen coming out, receiving a nice ovation from the crowd here in the Orange Bowl.
There's Don Strock, the ace reliever. You remember the game, Charlie, a couple of years ago when Strock came in the second quarter of the playoff game against San Diego?
Yes.
Threw for 4 touchdowns and 403 yards, only to see the Chargers win the game in overtime. But you have to have special players to be able to back up and be able to do that type of relief performance.
They're down at 9, 14-yard line of the Colts. Reno has all the time in the world. On target at the 2-yard line to Tony Nathan. Francis made the tackle. Maybe the 1-yard line. Gain of 13, first down, goal to go. Bob?
Take a look at the amount of time that he has to get rid of this ball. He's going to come out of the backfield here and just has the time to get the ball all the way over here before he throws it to him. Good protection. You'll see the linebackers are blitzing on the play. Nathan breaks across the field, double covered, just keeps going. Keep going. Marino stays with him. No pass rush, Charlie. If you have that much time, you're going to complete it.
1-yard line, first down, goal to go. Pete Johnson and Woody Bennett. They have a touchdown apiece. And it is Bennett with Johnson blocking. And the Dolphins stretch it out. 43-7 with the extra point still to come.
It's called the old alley-oop over the top. Penetration will stop this. No Colt gets penetration. Woody Bennett lands on his head, but he'll take it. 6 points.
In the last 4 games against the Colts, including preseason this year, the Dolphins have now outscored the Colts by 159. This would be 160 if they make it to 24. Extra point is good. 44-7. Conversation with Bob Brzezinski and Red Cashin. They're holding up to see if anything was going to happen on that conversation. There's the score, 44-7. Right, now what are they looking for on the chart?
Well, Charlie, if I can hold this up here, what they're looking for, the green is first down, the blue is second, and the red is third down. Now, these are different series. Now, you can see that on every first down, the green or first down, you're getting zone on every green situation, so the quarterback will come up and see that. Second down, blue, they're getting man each time. Man, man, and man. Now, on third down in red, they're getting blitz, so you can see what coverage you're getting on those downs, or you can look over here on the right and see plus 12, plus 20, plus 5, plus 5. You look at those, and you'll say, hey, I want to run those plays again. So if you're looking for something to run, go to the board and find out what plays are working.
Right, that's what they're looking at, the chart on the sideline.
Yes, sir. That's a good friend for the quarterback.
All right. Now we're set for the kickoff. Von Schaman kicking off. And Phil Smith would down it at the back edge of the end zone. Miami Dolphins just moving 56 yards in 10 plays. It took them almost 5 minutes. Woody Bennett scoring from a yard out for Woody Bennett, his second touchdown of the afternoon, with Pete Johnson leading the way. And Don Strock, you were talking about the reliever. Well, he's going to be coming into the next series for Miami. We thought it would be Jim Jensen, but maybe the shot that Jensen took, they decided not to play him at quarterback.
Well, I think, too, Charlie, that Strock has not been in any regular season game. This is the 4th game. He played in preseason, but not the 4th game. He hasn't played in a month. So Shula just wants to get him in, maybe get some cobwebs, get rid of him.
All right, Schleister. And the pass is incomplete. Ray Butler, the intended receiver. We have 9 minutes and 43 seconds left to go in the ball game. Miami has wrapped this one up. 44-7. The fans are loud and proud. Well, they have been both here this afternoon in the Orange Bowl. No question about that.
Dolphins are pretty healthy. We talked about the Colts secondary being injured. The Dolphins are pretty healthy, except for A.J. Dewey in the defense, and he's just about ready to come back.
Schleister, his pass is complete. His first completion. This to Tracy Porter. Now 2 men in the offensive line for the Colts. Chris Hinton, number 75, and the rookie from Maryland, Ron Solt, number 66. A direct result of the Elway trade. And this will give you an idea of what the Colts got. In addition, Mark Herman, who we saw on the sideline, you say be back in a couple of weeks?
Both top offensive linemen, Chris Hinton and Ron Solt, 2 #1 draft choices, and also Mark Herman came over in the John Elway trade. It looks pretty good for the Colts at this point. Of course, I think the jury is still out on Elway in Denver. He's certainly going to be good, but he's taking a little bit of time.
3rd down and 3. Oh, intercepted. Judson had up ahead of Steve. Porter, the intended receiver, will be 4th down and 3.
Schleister needs all the work he can get, Charlie. He played very well in preseason, but I think coming out, he hasn't played in the last 3 weeks. He really needs the work. He hasn't looked that good today, and this will be some good work for him. Young man set all kinds of records at Ohio State. #1 draft choice for the Baltimore Colts when they were in Baltimore.
Jackie Shipp, the #1 draft choice from the University of Oklahoma is the injured player for the Dolphins. The last report, by the way, that we had on Eric Black's show, it may be, they're not sure, but it may be a cartilage problem in his right knee. He was injured earlier in the ballgame. That's the last report that we have. We have an injury timeout, 9:26 left to the ball game. Miami out in front, 44-7. Jackie Shep coming out of the ball game.
#1 draft choice of the Dolphins. They feel like he's going to be a good linebacker, Charlie. He just doesn't play the pass as well as they need him to at this point. They feel like coming out of Oklahoma, he was very good against the run, not that good against the pass.
Ron Stark's hang time. Taken at the 34-yard line and it dropped. 4.4 seconds, the 39-yard kick. Robert Sowell dropped it, recovered it, 35-yard line. Let's check the scoreboard of games that are currently underway. Fourth quarter, Seattle. Hey, way to go, Seahawks. Sorry about that, Bears. So Chicago will drop out of that perfect group. They'll be 3-1. Denver shutting out Kansas City. That is a surprise. Particularly the score. Dallas leading 13-6. Green Bay trying to scramble back into that ball game. And Tampa Bay closing a bit on the Giants.
Playing quarterback for Miami, number 10.
Don Strock is now the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. That announcement has the best tan of any of the Dolphin players. And here is Pete Johnson picking up one, maybe two. Wisniewski with the tackle. Now, when we started today, these four teams were 3-0. San Francisco won early. They're 4-0. Miami will win. They will be 4-0. It looks as if Chicago will lose. They'll be 3-1. The Raiders play the Chargers tomorrow night.
Second down and 8.
So, and then there were 3.
It's dwindling.
Yes, it is.
Pete Johnson's interesting. He's in the ball game now, Charlie. I'm sure Don Strock at quarterback is making sure Pete knows where he's going before he leaves that huddle. Just getting him a little bit of experience into the Dolphin offensive terminology this ball game.
Now that is his longest gain, not only of this ball game, that is his longest gain this year.
Well,
7 yards.
When you go in on the 2-yard line, you can only gain 2 yards. The Chargers using him only in goal line situations prior to this point. Good blocking. Geisler, 79 coming around. Cleveland Green, 74. And as Kozlowski said, he's a house to try and bring down.
A gain of 7 yards. 9 carries, 16 yards, and a touchdown for Pete Johnson. And I imagine Strock is saying, if he's going to hand it, now you come to my right or my left, make sure that you don't run into me.
He's calling 34 trap, and that's to the right now. Remember, that's right.
First down. Johnson got it. Steve Parker with the tackle. What's it like down below when Pete Johnson weighing in at 270 plus comes at you?
It's a good look at the defensive and offensive line play. It's tough going in there. 72, Ronnie Lee is in there for the Dolphins. Ronnie Lee was with the Dolphins a few years ago, was a tight end. Was traded to the Atlanta Falcons. They made a guard out of him, and now he's back playing guard for the Miami Dolphins.
Also in as a wide receiver is exciting number 82, Fernanza Burgess, the wild man of the special team. And he goes in motion. Here is Johnson. Now let's go back in time. At the top of the telecast, when we introduced you to Pete Johnson, for those of you that may have joined us late, we put up his statistics in 1981. Now the reason that we selected that year, he was with the Cincinnati Bengals. That was the year that Cincinnati went to the Super Bowl. And they lost, as you will recall, to the 49ers. But Pete Johnson had an outstanding year in 1981, rushing for more than 1,000 yards, and his receiving totals were just a little under 300 yards.
And I think the Bengals may be missing him this year, Charlie.
This pass is complete to Joe Rose. Rose comes to a sliding stop at the 48-yard line of the Colts. Mark Kapans is making the tackle.
You know, talking about Pete Johnson, he just got into Miami last night. They gave him a physical, which he passed. A couple of other ones coming into town couldn't pass it, but they said they didn't have time to put him on a scale. So they really don't know what he weighs. They have an idea, but I think what Shula might be doing here, you know, it's pretty hot and humid in Miami. He may be just getting him a little action. He may lose 5 or 6 pounds in a half a quarter of play.
Pete Johnson's rushing total his career. Third down and 2. Strock mishandling the snap. Fumbling the ball. And Pete Johnson recovered.
Recovered by Pete Johnson.
So not only has Pete, here's a look at it again, but a chance to play, a chance to get a little familiar with the terminology, a chance to lose some weight, but also a chance to be well received by the fans here. That's got to help your mental attitude.
When he came out before the game, an hour before the game, just to loosen up, he ran around the field, and as he went around, it was like a wave. The fans that were here, he was applauded as he ran around the stadium.
Reggie Roby kicking with the win. Nesby Glasgow is the return man at the 10-yard line. He signals for a fair catch, wants it to go into the end zone, and it does. The kick good for 50 yards, and will bring it out to the 20-yard line. We'll take a timeout with 4:59 left to go, and Miami has this one 44-7. We're back at the Orange Bowl with 4:59 left to go, and the Dolphins lead it 44-7. And the Colts have the ball on their own 20-yard line. Total yards, not quite, but almost 2-1. Little play action by Art Schleister's screen. Curtis Dickey. And he'll lose yardage. As Jackie Shipp, who obviously had the wind knocked out of him, and that was all, back in the ballgame. They did check his blood pressure just to make sure that it was all right. And then he came back in, a loss of 4 on the play.
Charlie, as I was saying about Shipp, #1 draft choice. The first 2 draft choices by the Dolphins this year, linebackers. The second being Jay Brophy. Brophy has really come on a little bit quicker because of playing at the University of Miami. He played against more pass-oriented teams. Shipp is going to be a good player. He just needs to be exposed to the passing game a little bit more.
I have a question about the Colt offense. A little play action here. This one is complete to Dave Young. And Young moves out to the 22-yard line, picks up 6. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Jay Brophy makes the tackle. Now, this far behind, though, the Colts staying with what I would have to say their basic game plan at the start of the ballgame. They're not going deep. They're not playing a hurry-up offense. They're not throwing the ball deep. Is there a particular reason for this?
I think the reason is they're concerned with Art Schleister and getting him some plays. They're trying to get, obviously, some of their newer players in the ballgame, but still, they're calling plays that is going to make Art Schleister a better football player, not unlike what Shula has done last year with Marino and this year with Joe Carter. I'll develop that next.
Schleister throws. It is incomplete. Matt Booza, the intended receiver.
What I was saying, Joe Carter was out the first 3 ball games with a slight shoulder separation. The Dolphins' running game was hurting. He could have played last Monday night against the Buffalo Bills up there. Shula's comment was it wasn't the right situation. And by that he meant they're away from home. He wanted to make sure he got in a positive atmosphere. He wanted to wait till he got home on his home grass in front of the Orange Bowl, much like he did last year with Marino. He waited to the 4th or 5th game, got Marino in some good situations to build his confidence and let him go from a base of confidence rather than getting in and maybe fumbling the ball. I think Schleister's doing the same thing here. They're doing the same thing with Schleister.
The kick by Ron Stark is taken at the 29-yard line by Vince Heflin, and a punt of 48 yards. So Miami has the ball, first down with 3:18 left to go. The ball on their own 30-yard line. Now, the Miami Dolphins at this point of this year, going back to a year ago, offensively have been a tremendous number of changes.
Certainly have, Charlie. You go back to the start of last season, 1983. The players that were starting then, we'll take a look at it right here. 1983, the quarterback has changed. Woodley to Marino. The wide receivers, the fullback has changed. Franklin is injured, and Bennett is playing. But as you go on down the list, Duriel Harris, and we'll get back to it in a minute. You see Joe Carter going up for a few yards. But Duriel Harris was a starter at the start of 83. Duper is now playing. Cephalo was a starter. Mark Clayton has come on in 84. Bruce Hardy was the tight end. Dan Johnson is starting now. It's amazing, those players. Dennard was a starting center. Dwight Stevenson is now starting. And Kuchenberg. Bob Kuchenberg, the All-Pro. And now Roy Foster's coming. It's amazing. What is it, 3, 6, 7 players.
Out of 11.
Out of 11. And 3 of those players, Marino, Duper, and Dwight Stevenson, made the Pro Bowl in their first year of starting. The facelift, the Miami Dolphins offense alone has gone through, and still they continue to play so very well.
Second down and 6, the ball at the 34-yard line. Joe Carter. Adachowski pushing him out of bounds. Gain of 15. Who is that went down?
One of the Dolphin physicians, Ted St. Mary. He's one of their internal medicine men right there.
And the other doctor checking him.
Those are the 2 doctors that have been checking the new running backs that have come in. Joe Carter, running back, just goes over and levels him.
Yes. You've got to practice hurt.
Ted St. Mary, nice man.
Carter, 14 carries, 68 yards rushing. First down for Miami at their own 49-yard line. 2:22 left to go in the game. Here's Carter. Fumble. And jumping on it was Roy Foster. But he did not have possession. He lost it at the bottom of the stack. And Hathaway came up with it. Steve Hathaway, the rookie taken in the 12th round of the draft from West Virginia.
The trap, as you'll see, Foster 61 pulls the block, the defense. There is nobody there, no hole there. Carter tries to get out. The ball comes loose. Foster dives across. Now, the offensive linemen don't get an opportunity to do this very often.
That's why.
And I think he was so big, he just landed on it, probably flattened it a little bit, and came right off of it, and the Colts recovered.
So the Colts had the ball on the 50-yard line, first down.
Charlie, the passing yardage for the Dolphins, 260 yards. For the Colts, 113. Colts rushing is 134, and the Dolphins 140.
Schleister scrambling out of the pocket, and he goes sliding to the 44-yard line, so he'll pick up 6. Meanwhile, Mike Charles back at the 45-yard line. He got away from Mike. Mike was on his knees just pounding the turf with his hands. The 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning given to both benches. 44-7 Miami. We won't have one here. We're back at the Orange Bowl. The ball at the 43-yard line of Miami. It is second down and 3. 2 minutes to go in the ball game. And the score, Miami 44 and Indianapolis 7. Schleister is sacked.
Sacked by number 70, Bill Barnett.
You're seeing the inexperience of a young quarterback. Schleister out of play all of last year. When his receivers are covered, he either has to get rid of the ball to his hot receiver, know where to dump it quick, or get out of there, because you cannot expect your offensive line to hold the defensive line that long.
There was a flag down.
5 yards, first down.
The penalty against the Dolphins. That is their first penalty. The reason? Well, Ross Schneiderman caught it again. Miami had 13 men on the field to play.
13 men on the
field. If you're
field.
going to miss it big. Here's a program note. The silver spoons will be seen later for those that is coming up. That's the wrong copy. If you want to give me the right copy, I can tell them the exact words. We have wordage for you. We just are scrambling to find it. Here's with it a first down. Here's Curtis Dickey. Dickey to the 30-yard line.
Tackled by Rodell Thomas. Dickey carries for
Odell Thomas.
Indianapolis.
There's A.J. Dewey in the baseball cap and the white shirt. Chuck Studley in the orange shirt next to Don Shula. A.J. is about ready to come off injured reserve. He had a shoulder problem and a knee problem during the year, at the offseason, and now will be able to come back next week, and they feel like getting him back in the ball game, Charlie, will give them more ways to go with their defense. Linebacker, lineman, move him around. The confusion factor make the offense think a little bit more.
Art Schleister's pass to Tracy Porter was way over his head. So it'll be third down and still a couple to go. Curtis Dickey, 50 carries and 77 yards rushing. You can add that to his total of 245 coming into the ball game. He is the leader in the game with 332 on the season. Third down and 2, and here's Randy McMillan. And McMillan may pick up the first down at the 28-yard line. He needed 2, and that's just about all that he got. Mike Charles makes the tackle. The chance for us to thank Bill McComas and Harry Van Sukel, our spotters, Bobby Harris and Ross Schneiderman, our statisticians. 1 minute and 18 seconds left to go here in the Orange Bowl, and the Dolphins will be 4-0.
Charlie, the Indianapolis team is, the Indianapolis area has really gotten behind this ball club. You know, they've had, as we look at Cush and Schleister and coming in the field, they've really done a good job of promoting the ball club back in Indianapolis. The Hoosier Dome, it was an outstanding project by the entire city of Indianapolis, getting the stadium built without a professional franchise, and then obviously getting the team, selling the tickets. 143,000 requests for season tickets when they only had 61,000 seats in the stadium. That's the kind of problem you'd like to have.
Yes, yes.
They're trying to build a new stadium in Miami. Joe Robbie is trying to get it done. He's sold about half the seats that he feels like he has to sell. He's trying to do it on his own with skyboxes, preferred seating, and I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him. He's done an outstanding job with his franchise.
First down for the Colts at the Miami 28-yard line. Tipped twice, it's intercepted. Glenn Blackwood, his second interception of the ball game. His third turnover. 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery. 30 yards on the return. What a ball game he's had. And if you were with us earlier, they were icing down that shoulder. Little problems with his right shoulder. We'll take another look.
And they'll call him the trash man at practice as soon as they see this. Just hanging around, the old tip drill. The ball goes in the air one time, twice, and then Blackwood, the trash man, they'll call him. Kozlowski 40 goes back to try. Kozlowski tipped it once. Blackwood in the right place at the right time. Now when it's going right for you. Now he's going to do a little hurtling over on the sideline.
And for Glenn Blackwood, that is his 5th interception of this year. That will move him into the #1 slot in the NFL for sure. Miami at their own 33-yard line. 1:03 left to go. Joe Carter. He'll lose a couple of yards to the 31. It'll be second down and 12, but it's really academic. Miami will be happy just to run this one out.
Joe Carter's had a good day, Charlie. He's gotten a lot of ball carries. He came into this game with coming off of an injury. He did very well in preseason. So the Dolphins really have to be pleased with the performance of Joe Carter and their running game today. He's carried the ball 16 times for 68 yards, and I think that's a productive day for a young man just getting back into play, a rookie that they're counting on.
Second down and 12. 21 seconds on the 30-second clock and 16 on the countdown, so this one's in the book. They don't have to take another snap. For the Colts, it was run, 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 but they couldn't run it enough. For the Dolphins, it was pass, pass, pass. The key, the passing to Mike Duper. The quarterback quote, ate the hard way. They got 8. NFL 84 still to come. The final here, Miami 44, Indianapolis 7. This is Charlie Jones, Bob Greasy. So long from the Orange Bowl.